the IT vertical space above storage and do exactly what we would have looked the defense to do during the plant, which is take out the planter or at least get the kill off the back of the crossman.
For this attacking team, 55 seconds left, and it's all on the shoulders of Badham.
Had the intel, but no. Badger grabbing away. Another. The pokey.
Pokeball. Hydra says, I choose you, Joker.
Kiss my ash. You got 0 cents. Your IQ is low.
Did you make that up right now?
Yeah, right now on the spot.
I just want to touch on mental health. If you're feeling out of it,
They put together a hell of a club sandwich. Sledge must have been the bacon because he got fried.
A whiskey. What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We're back. It's finally the second match after an unbelievable time torch. No, I'm just joking. We got to get some stuff settled out. You know how it goes. But this time, the big question now becomes, are you reaching for the Daystars? Or are you gagging for a Kagan? Because this match has final potentiality.
Yeah, this almost feels like a match that maybe needed to happen later in the bracket, but here we are, semi-final game, CAG taking on a Daystar, and a bunch of great games. We got to see some of them on Tom J's stream, but wow, what a wild pause we had there. Challenger mode map veto system went completely down, and the admins needed to run the vetoes offline and slowed the whole process down considerably. So, for those looking for the APL bracket going crazy, my friends, it is time. The last Bo3 tonight. The rest of the games are going to be covered on the main streams tomorrow and Sunday, Asia time. But this is it. One more, my friend, and we are here for it. CAG taking on Daystar.
Yeah, a couple of names you're very familiar with if you've been watching any Siege at all. Of course, we just had the last CAG game on, and now they're taking on Daystar. And this, honestly, battle of two titans here, Run.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen CAG absolutely destroy, really, that Enterforce 36 team. I wanted them to be better. I wanted that to be a closer game, but it didn't happen. Now, the Daystar side, they also won their match 2-0. So, Harambe, Sofler, PK, and, I mean, Eclipse, the rest of this squad is ready to do battle. Unfortunately, man, we're not going to get to see Fortress.
Man, no Fortress on the board, but you know what we are going to do? We're going to go right back to Lair to start us off. And honestly, I'm here for it. Lair was fun. It was a dominant show out by CAG on the first one. And then after that, we head to Nighthaven Labs, one of arguably my favorite maps on the board. And then should fate deem it necessary, should we get a chance, should the gods say, yes, map 3, we're headed on to the textbook Clubhouse.
Man, honestly, this is a great pick, I feel like, for CAG. Now, the question is, how is this Daystar roster going to do? And I appreciate you chiming in the chat that we had Azuki jumping in instead, along with Seal. So this is a Daystar roster. You know what? You and I haven't had a chance to see very often. I am very excited to see what they can put together. And Nighthaven, a great place to try and do some battle. And if they had an opportunity to see how CAG played out on Lair, they could make a few adjustments here at the end of it. So as we get just about time, I mean, you can believe it. Lair, they did so well on this map. I'm a little worried for Daystar here to start off. They need to keep that confidence high if CAG can start off on that same, freight train that they carried through in map 1.
Yeah, and we could be talking considerable skill diff here between the two teams that took CAG on here for Lair. But, I mean, honestly, they just looked so good on it. Their attack was so well put together and so well coordinated that it just seemed like Enterforce could not find a way to deal with what they were bringing on the attack side of it. And then it was done and dusted on the defense, right? When you get there and you're at that 5-1 half, it's just a few short rounds and you find yourself on the losing of map number 1. Daystar, I think they're going to have something to say about it. They might not have been able to VOD review for the last map watching it happen, but I think potentially the gun skill could be a little bit higher on this side of it.
All right, my friend, it is time for Lair, and man, what a great map this is. I love the fact that the visuals on this map are beautiful. It's a map to me that is very fun that way it plays out. It has a little bit of that villa feel with some of the small rooms, especially downstairs in the basement, but you know what? Even it was like a great way to start and get adapted to this new fortress map. But I think Lair is going to still hold a great spot in the hearts of the competitive players. So this is a fun one, and man, are we going to see anything strange come out? A big change up? But no, Daystar taking down the Monty. They're gonna take away the shield from Kag. But honestly, they some great runs with the Blackbeard, so that's only partially helpful.
Yeah, but it started out with the Monty, right? It started out with taking that space, with being that absolute force and intel. I'm not mad at the Monty band here. It's putting a little respect on the name of Kag, saying, you know what? Yeah, you're good with the shields. We're not going to run it this time. Double breach denial on the side for the attacking, choosing the defensive operators to ban, and that feels like a big win, especially because Kag was very dedicated to making sure that they just split approached every single opportunity, right? Open every single thing up, hold your crosses, wait for the rotate, and then capitalize when somebody makes a mistake.
Defenders,
Kag was
protect your
great
bombs
at it
from
then.
being
They're going
defused
to try
by
to be great
attackers.
at it now with the Bandit and the Cade ban.
You know what it feels like to me is that Kag has got a little bit more respect here on this Daystar roster, or a little bit more familiar with their game, right? We saw it early on in that Kag absolutely crushed it from a hard breach perspective. They were very successful. Arcully running that thermite, opening everything up very quickly. I think they're expecting a little bit more resistance from the Daystar defense, and so needed to make sure that they got rid of both the Cade and the Bandit to make sure they're still able to do that. That to me says that they are prepared for the Daystar defense, and it gives me, a little bit of concern because of how well it feels like Kag's prepared.
Well, let's talk about the defense as they get into it. They're going to bring a little area denial sans the Tachanka as they bring out the smoke and the Goyo as the combo move here. I like this. I mean, yes, it's basic. It's what you've seen before, but it's here and basic because it works really well at just denying space, torching the time, both physically and on the game board, or on the timeline.
Yeah, for sure. This is one that, like, when you're talking about this debate we've had back and forth about the Tachanka, which is the better one to play, which is the right way to do this, but man, take a look at this. Even though you have that Bandit and the Cade ban, that's exactly why Thermite is able to open that wall up. So now, huge hole into sight makes it significantly more difficult to defend the operational side of the map. That's going to give Kag this attack, and you can see immediately that's where they start pushing in. Start with the drones. Got the Azami playing on top of the desk in Master Office, so they're expecting this play. Question is, can they get this defense spread out enough to take some individual fights?
I love that already they're trying to put some pressure onto this Ella playing down below, right? Deimos holding on to the ping, or holding on to the cross, and he's got the idea. They're going to get a drone in, and it's going to get sussed out, and it's going to look from a swing from Ella. Instead, she's going to back off and head into the direction of medical as those candles went up, recognizing that potentially it's going to be an isolate and decimate scenario. She lives to tell the tale, and we stay tied up 5-5 at a minute 20.
Yeah, it was a great play, right? And take the back off, and don't take the engagement when you don't need to. They're being certainly more cautious with this Kag attack, and it feels like that is certainly the best play here for Daystar. As we get into that final minute, and we've seen Arcully opened up the sight lines they needed, still has one more of those thermites in, but look at this, a little bit of, not a trade back and forth, but a quick answer back, as now we sit 4-4, 50 seconds left. Both teams, getting all of the work in, but not taking the engagements directly. They feel like they're playing more cautiously here at the start of the semifinal.
Man, what a beautiful pincher move onto the Goyo. I mean, it was fire from across the map to be able to lock them into place, opening it up, and then it's the Ying on tech to finally solidify that kill. Now, they do get one apiece as the Candelas start coming out, looking to put some pressure on it, and he's going to be rewarded with it. Finds one, looking towards, but it's unfortunately going to get it taken down from the main breach. Smoke starts to go out now as we find ourselves in a 3-2. The smoke goes down, and that was a big part of it. Ying's shotgun going to allow them to get into a place to start that plant, and as the Ying Candela start going down, they're going to be able to find it. Daystar on a huge play, now into a 1v1, into a pistol pop, looking for the body drop, and they're going to do it. Huge play by Daystar as they're able to bring this one back into contention.
Wow, that honestly it felt like it could have gone either way. Right, Gag had a fantastic attack. They opened up the sight lines. The Thermite very successful, not having to deal with the Cade or the Bandit. They just worked those sight lines, but Daystar was ready, waiting, and answered back, and a couple great shots. You know what? Trades back and forth. There wasn't a significant advantage on either side. If Cag took a player down, Daystar was ready to answer back, and vice versa. Gives us a defensive win to start this thing off. So not the tremendous Cag attack, just landslide that we saw from back on map 1, which is almost 2 hours ago, my friend. Feels like forever at that point. And so if you're some of our NA friends, thanks for joining us here on the English cast for the Cag Daystar game. And if you're just finding the channel, joining us here late, we're glad you're here with us as we get to see which one of these two teams is going to move on in the SI LCQ playoffs here on the Siege Double Shot.
Okay, well, Daystar finds themselves one, and albeit might not have been one they should have won, right? Down in the main advantage, plants going down, and then some individual heroics brings that back with a pistol pop finish. Feels like Daystar might have got away with one, even though it was beautifully orchestrated. So now they get a chance to take it down to the basement, and since it was the Bandit and Cade that was taken off the board, that leaves a couple of critical operators still here to be able to be used, including the Mira, the Goyo, and the Valkyrie, right? All operators that are designed to slow you down and make you slip, make you miss. Honestly, this is a real good defense for down here in the basement.
Yeah, it's one of the things, again, we didn't really see from the E36 team was they didn't really run the Valkyrie. Even though she was available, they didn't really lean into that intel side of it. And yeah, the combination of the intel and intel deny with the Valk and the Mute, I think really works well against this CAG team. So they spent a lot of time droning, both just for intel and offensively, using the Flores, using the Twitch. But this time we're gonna rely on, again, a little bit of the going full cheese here. The Ying, the Deimos, the Ash, the Blackbeard. Thermite's really that only lockdown, and Arcully has been the guy to pull that off. But that's a huge pick to start this thing off. Valk relegated to her own cams.
Man, huge first play. Here's what I love. Mute went all the way up to the second floor, put some jammers down. What did that do? That forced you to have to put bodies. You can't just get a drone in and say, yeah, 2F's clear, let's take some vert. You actually have to put some bodies in, and that's exactly what Ash is doing right now. They do find that first. That takes a C4 off the board and gives Cag, of course, that main advantage. Shotgun is in the hands of Smoke as he tries to stay alive. Is going to find one onto Shoe Reap, though, as the SMG-11 rings out. Huge play there. So now they find themselves equalized 4-4.
All right, it's at, 4-4. Halfway through this round. Again, most of the assets still in play, but Chibisu, wow, what a shot. Taking down Peak. Wow, nice shooting there. They lose the Goyo. All of his intel is still in, but man, he is right place, right time as he takes down Azuki as well. Daystar struggling right now. They're sitting in a 4v2 still. They still have got a minute to hold down. Cag is going to have to work hard to get these this diffuser, these assets in play. Taking a couple shots. Blackbeard unafraid.
Man, that was just absolute fear as he tried to nope his way on out of there. Just couldn't quite get it done. Mute found in a little bit of a dangerous situation. Now into a 1v3. You're starting to see Blackbeard putting the pressure on. A grenade's going to ring out. The Candelas are there, and now it's going to be the shots from behind. Arcully is able to take one off the board, and they find their first as we get tied up 1-1.
CAG looked like it was absolutely locked in on that round. Again, off the shield play. So the Daystar defense bans the Monty first, expecting a little bit of shields out of the CAG team, but they're going to go Grim on the other side, give them a little bit more flexibility to move around, which allows CAG to play the Blackbeard, and Anaton locked in on that, and Blackbeard basically won the round for them, taking space downstairs in warehouse, completely distracting, clearing the basement, and again, the opening pick as well. So, you said it, tied up 1-1. This one right now, both of these teams playing significantly, more even Siege than we saw from that first best of 3 is now round rotate done. We're going to see the tertiary side and that Bunk's briefing side, and huge vertical focus from this Daystar defense as expected. We're going to see that R6 room, a little bit of intel, a little bit of utility placed upstairs to defend that vertical.
I love that we're looking at
5
Amira
seconds
and
to go.
Agoyo active on the same scene for this first floor, right? That's going to allow
Attackers
you
are
to
moving
really
out to
just do
locate a
a
bomb and
lot
defuse
of
it.
holding. Now, it's a 3-person investment in the vertical, holding on to it, one of them including Smoke, which is interesting, right? Usually we're seeing him down to stop the plant, but upstairs, he's got a lot more capability to potentially bring it out, right? All of a sudden, he can send smokes, he can stop it, and he's supporting his mirror down below. I like the idea of Smoke up on top. Will it be enough? Maybe. I'm not sure. Starting to open up for the main breach as they had a mirror on there. Thermite's going to make quick work of it, and that's going to see SMG-11 take, the hero of the last round off. Striker, done and dusted. Man advantage into the hands of Daystar.
Yeah, 2 big picks coming out from Chibisu that felt like a significantly, more impactful than just the 2 that he had. And then to lose him, to go down, you said it, lose the striker. So all of the big breach util in play, but look at that, Azuki takes down Arculi. We saw that exact same run out from the E36 team. Last round, the exact same play, same timing. I mean, they found a little bit of a gap there in the CAG armor on their attack. It's kind of wild. We saw that play out in the same way.
All right, down by 2 in the numbers advantage. Still not a terrible spot except for that huge deficit, but there's plenty of time to work, right? Now as the proxy starts to go off, Ace's location is going to be known, which means they got a little idea potentially where that plant is, or where that positioning is going to be at. It's going to be tough, Run. You got to retake the vertical. You still got C4 in the hands of Mira that you got to deal with. Tough situation if you're CAG to try to take the scoreline advantage on this one.
Yeah, I like the fact that they have the Thatcher, right? That can definitely give you the advantage, try and stop some of those C4s, but the big problem is Daystar has got the second floor on absolute freaking lockdown. All but 2 of those players upstairs and a ton of defensive assets. We did see the E36 team get a plant down, even with some CAG vertical held, but when you have 5 Daystar players, 3 upstairs, 2 downstairs, this is a very difficult plant for CAG to try and get down.
Yeah, and now C4 is going to take Shoe Reap off the board. Smoke canisters are going to stop the eventual push in from the Ying as well. And as it gets down to 23 seconds, it's going to have to see something absolutely masterful to bring this one back into contention. SMG-11 is going to take Anatim off the board, and it's all going to be up to the Thatcher now. He is going to find one. L85 claims the life, and it's going to be a hatch drop. He looks for a little bit of a wall bang, a shotgun in hand. He's going to find a second one. Finally, the Vector is going to do it. Got on a little bit of a tear there, Run, but they were able to shut it down off of the stairs and Akiba barrier.
Yeah, having a fight back from a 5v3 is a difficult hill to climb, and Daystar locks it down on defense. And honestly, huge thank you to the community that joined us. 7,900 followers on the march to 8, on the march to 10K, my friends. Thanks for being here with us. Now, as we see the bans come in, yeah, not unexpected. Getting rid of the Blackbeard. That was a necessary ban there from the Daystar team, but on the contrary, they lose the Azami. Very good at holding on to that upstairs office, or the master office side. So, man, who's going to take advantage of the opportunity? I love this game, my friend.
Yeah, no kidding. I love the Azami ban. It was off the back of some really just exceptional pixel peak perfections. It saw them through that last round. So W bans on both sides of it. Now it's going to be the adaptation. First round rotates over and done. Cag's got a little bit of an idea of what Daystar's bringing. Daystar solidified their hold, and now switching it up a little bit. Can't have the Azami. They're going to bring out the Clash.
That's one of those that, we see teams sort of bounce back and forth, and even though they have the mirror available, Clash just sort of acts as that mobile mirror, giving you the bulletproof shield, a little bit of flexibility to move around. We'll see whether or not this works out for sure Daystar's favor. They feel, and they're playing much more confident than we saw the previous team to face CAG. E36 sort of felt a little bit timid, a little bit uncoordinated. Daystar doesn't have any of that, so this is a much more challenging matchup here for the CAG Osaka team. So they are still the T1 Giants that Daystar's looking to try and take down. Second in reload, made it to the 6th Invitational previously, but they are vulnerable. This is not a team that is unbeatable. Daystar has shown it, at least to start off here on Lair.
Yeah, beautiful couple of first early rounds by Daystar, and now they're having to use some of that smoke as they rotate back up, stop a little bit of that push, specifically trying to shut down Anakin and that spearhead shield play, making sure that he can't flash and get space. And now he's locked up into the corner. Right now he's got a little bit of space and room to breathe, and Clash is on their way to back him up on the main stair as well. So they've got a pretty locked-in defense here, Run. It's going to be on CAG to try to find a way in. Starting with that, it's going to be Thermite opening up for sure from Operation.
I mean, they almost needed to consider banning the Thermite. Our Cully is just so good on that, and we're for sure going to see, it feels like, teams making some adjustments as these LCQs progress. Whether or not CAG is in the upper bracket or lower bracket, they're going to make a change up here. So look at this, the C4 ready and waiting for the push in from Surip. I would love to see that C4 hit. It's one of those wild plays back and forth, but it just misses. They survive by just a hair.
No kidding. And then they're going to get the kill onto the floor, as that's going to be a huge pick for Daystar as they claim that man advantage, and they get rid of the operator who can get rid of some of that extension util. Force the movement onto the Clash. Sheesh! Push
what
up.
A trade.
Found a quick double. Shurip able to answer back, though, as the Deimos is able to find a headshot, but damage done, right? Low health scenario for Shurip, and, of course, Thermite being the last two alive. A quick Deimos. Shot's going to find one, but unfortunately, siege time, and he's going to look away, and that's going to find it. Now it's all going to be up to the Thermite to try to bring this one back to tie it up. 47 seconds. Still has a Clash on board. Still has a smoke to deal with. And unfortunately going to be stuck behind the Clash shield with it turned on. The double cut is set, and that's going to be, man, that's going to be Daystar up by 2 as they claim it on the defensive side of things.
Man, what a play. This is it. Daystar just rocking it right now, and what we didn't see in that first best of 3, no timeouts. None taken on either side. CAG this time around says, oh no, we are showing some vulnerabilities to this Daystar defense. It is our map pick. CAG started off here picking Lair, again, not unexpectedly with how devastating, how decidedly they picked it up in that first best of 3. So great time to pause, reset. They didn't take the pause after the ban phase, after the end of the first quarter, but with Daystar picking up another one and winning the this little bit of back and forth here, feels like a great time to take that time out and talk about it. And take a look at those skill lines, my friend. Very even across both of these teams. Everybody contributing.
Yeah, I love the difference here in gameplay, right? You can tell when we watch map 1 CAG on Lair, Lair just isn't a part of Interforce's map pool, right? That was just clear. They were a little bit lost. They had some good moments, but CAG practiced, coordinated, found a way to do the win. Daystar looks like they play Lair. Right? Daystar looks like they've got a kind of an idea of how they want to bring this together, and their defenses have been spot on. And part of it, they're playing off of the back of that mirror. They're bringing the operators that are not just setting the pace, but the team combo movements to make sure that they're isolating and finding the kills. It's working out beautifully. They find themselves up 3-1. 4-2 is the hopeful split here for a standard on the defensive side of it, but they got to get through this basement now, and this is locking it down, right? Solus for some of that roam game capability and intel doubled on it with the Valkyrie as well, and then slow it down completely. Fenrir and Mira, that makes a devastating push when you're trying to claim some of that space.
Now, this is the round that we saw CAG win. They won the basement back on round 2, including with Daystar running the Valk. It was an early pick on the Valk that gave them that boost. So the question is, who's got the better adaptation this time around? CAG in that timeout continue to work around the adjustment that Daystar is making, or is Daystar going to be able to close out the full round, rotate, pick up that second floor, first floor, and then at the basement? It's a good question, but right now it feels like, you know, CAG on the back foot just from a round count perspective, and they have been playing more timidly. They have not been hitting this decidedly one-sided shots across the board. Right place, right time. Sharif's though gonna make me eat my words as he picks up that first.
Yeah, little salt, little pepper. How did that one taste? They claimed that man advantage. They said, hold on, hold my G Fuel. I can get the first entry pick. I can get it going. And they find themselves one. Now, Yin Candelas are going to start sending out a little bit of chaos towards that basement, maybe force some of these defenders to get back down towards site, because right now, and unsussed out, this could be huge. Solus still sits on the top floor, right? They start putting some vertical pressure in. She's going to be in a great place to find themselves a bit of a lurk kill.
Look at that, just the Fenrir trap just completely devastating the attack as they walk in, but nobody from the defense ready and waiting to be able to act off that piece of the intel. So we saw the action happening upstairs, a C4 thrown out, but nothing on the Daystar defense right now sort of hitting their mark. They're just causing chaos around the map. Burning time though for CAG. They're still sitting 5-4 here with a little bit of a boost. Again, just nades going off, util going in, and just not hitting anywhere across the board.
Well, that's a familiar sound as the Candelas start to go through. They're going to find 1-2 off the board, and they still got 2 people up on the first floor. Whoa, what? Oh, tough. Double pistol pop for the body drop. Now looking to try to claim one of them. They got themselves spread out. A little bit of intel from Solus as they can tell where the plant's starting to go down at, but run, it's a post-plant scenario in the 2v5. This is a tough hill to climb, even with the vertical. Classic retake out of Daystar.
30 seconds left, and yeah, the retake happening. The Souffle's gonna take down our Cully. That's a great way to start, but now we're running out of time, and it's gonna be DD to finish them off. You take the Blackbeard away from Anaton, and he answered back with the Ying, and maybe a better performance, just cheese-opping his way to a CAG attacking win. So the timeout buff successful. Team that takes the timeout wins the next round. CAG pulls it off and gets closer to tying this thing up as we're on the last round of the half.
Okay, well, best case scenario, if you're CAG, you're desperate for that 3-3 tie-up, right? Not saying that they can't get it done on defense, but if they can solidify one more, they're going to feel pretty good about going into it. On the other side of it, Daystar, they need that standard split, potentially, depending on how they're going to bring out their attacking side of it. The one thing that we know about Daystar is they're going to be incredibly aggressive on attack or defense, right? So finding yourself tied up definitely start to hit into CAG's favor for sure.
Yeah, this is one of those. This is one of those maps that CAG is very good on. This map, we have seen it. Daystar, though, I feel like has had an answer for the way that CAG has been playing, with the exception of maybe our Cully and the Thermite. He's been so successful at opening up those sight lines across the board. It's only been the basement, though, that they've been able to find success. So even though they're successful at getting the work in that they need to sort of put pressure on the defense, they have not been able to convert those directly into round wins. It just feels like more like Daystar struggled on the basement defense than CAG was supremely confident going into this one. So the change up, though, which way is it going to go? And man, look at this. If you could you know, you could set your watch by it. Keg, Thermite, Arcully opening that wall again.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about CAG that is really just impressive is how well they can stick to making sure that they check off all of the boxes to get in for an execute, right? Step 1, open it up. Step 2, find your isolation to try to claim your man advantage. Step 3, get in and plant. CAG has been doing a phenomenal job at that, at least in the previous ones that we watched a little bit here. So they can send some Yin Candelas in. They're going to cause a little bit of disruption and try to cause a little bit of chaos as they're starting to take that top floor. But this time, it is going to be the run out. Anakin's ready, though, as the trade happens. And C4 goes towards the main breach. Is able to keep that thing closed just a little bit longer. The Selma charge is the ones going off. So still 2 thermite charges in hand. The thing is, you got to get close to placing.
And half that round burned at this point, and we're still sitting 4-4. So again, the engagement's happening much slower than they have on that previous best of 3 we saw on this round. I think that speaks to the skill of both of these teams as they're waiting for the right time to make that push and that execute in. So Daystar is very much stacked up over on the R6 side. They're expecting CAG to make that push. There is an opportunity here for them to make the alternative play, try and make the end around. Sharif's downstairs playing this, playing the Dokkaebi, looking, waiting, watching, looking, that hops down, and the huge whiff.
Oh man, that's a tough place to find yourself. But when the dust settles, oh no, it's the double down. Now put into a 2-2. Anakin again on the pistol is going to pay the price for his hubris as he doesn't take the shot or he doesn't make the shot. So now into a 1v2. DD Man, the only one left alive to bring this back into contention. Open for that 3-3. Takes a couple of shots, has a little bit of intel. Look at the game sense sitting here by DD as he has an idea of where they're going to be sending it from. He finds another one. They did get the mirror back up, so it is back into a 2v1 scenario. 25 seconds as they start taking shots towards that main breach. He does have diffuser in hand. They've got the vertical, so potential to take a plant here. I mean, it is possible, except for the swing from the pillar. It's a vector to take them off the board. We find ourselves on a standard split, and honestly, Run, this is one I could see going to overtime right out the gate.
Evenly matched, back and forth, and right now they've each had the sites that they feel very comfortable on. Daystar managed to pick up wins on the 2F and the bunks briefing both times it got played. CAG on the air had picked up the basement both times. So, you know what? No give and take, no real adaptation on either side. Once they won that first, no way to change it. So, as said, we felt like very standard bans to start this thing off. The Cade Bandit, getting rid of those hard breach, making it easier to get the walls open, which CAG was very successful on. The bans this time around completely changed up, and the Grim Deimos on the CAG Osaka side, yeah, they're not going to have access to some of that attacker util that I think was very successful versus the E36 team.
Yeah, right. Deimos on that vertical play. And actually, we saw Grim on the vertical as well. He was shooting up through the floor, popping his bees from down below, and then trying to force out the Azami who was stuck behind the desk. It was a beautiful bit of play. And so they're like, we don't want to deal with that. We're just gonna not deal with that. We're gonna take the Grim and the Deimos off. We're gonna force you into bringing along somebody like a Buck or something for that vertical play. Not showing any of it currently, right? We're seeing the sledge being brought out, but obviously that's not one that you can do too much vertical from below unless you're standing on a desk. Sometimes you can open up those floors. But honestly, I don't know. Feels like the defensive wins here might have went into the hands of Daystar. This was a good play. Or, yeah, excuse me, into the hands of CAG. It's a good place stopping them. Jesus.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And we talked about Clash being the mobile mirror. Daystar does not want to have to deal with mirror in any form, the static or the dynamic. They're getting rid of both mirror and the Clash this time around, giving them a little bit more flexibility. So they're gonna, have to deal with the Azami, right? The Warden, so they're going to have to work through those defensive operatives that are very difficult to manage. So looking forward to seeing what they can bring for that, using the environmental ingredients practiced here. And I honestly love the Glaz pick too. This is one that we feel like we have seen Glaz rise in both competitive play and competitive bans because of the utility that he brings along. Chibisu there running the Warden as the counter to it. So he's got to stay alive long enough to make that difference. But the Jogo playing that Warden is a huge opportunity to take some shots and catch this CAG defense off guard.
Look, there's that Cuba barrier one way that they set up again, watching towards operational. And honestly, this is a pretty devastating one to deal with, unless you bring along the Glass, who can find that pixel peak, just a little bit of a hint of color change. He's going to be able to find himself, if not some damage, a kill. So a good adaptation for getting those done with. Plus, it's only going to take a couple of shots from that long-range gun to take those Cuba barriers down, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. And it's a new DMR in the hands of Habana as well.
I mean, we are in the age of DMRs here in Siege, and there's a reason why we see so many of them brought out, especially, again, like you said, against the Azami. Makes it much easier to clear the Kiva barriers out, but look at this. Jogo was just a little bit of a distraction on the stairs and able to take down Chibisu, and that is the ward, and that increases the utility of the Glaz as we get down into this final minute of gameplay, and the walls are collapsing in around Azami.
All right, well, takes the first shot and a quick, easy swing as Jogo gets taken off the board. Azami in that static warfare, not to be outdone on the doorway. Does see the numbers equalized, and unfortunately for Daystar, it's the Glaz they take off the board. So 1 for 1 on oh, look at that. Is going to be able to stop the default area for the plant, but it's going to force him a little bit farther in, and then
Tachanka!
LMG from Tachanka, the Lord himself, will rain out not just fiery redemption, but an LMG double to say, you shall not pass.
Man, what a great play there, specifically from the Tachanka. It gives Keg a huge boost on defense to start this round off. And honestly, what was so close, Daystar looked like they had that thing on lockdown. Plant going down, up against the hard wall, felt like they had everything in their hands. And then Tachanka shows up and rains fire and death from the LMG down upon the Keg team, upon the Daystar team. Locked in, my friend. Boy, a little bit of a debate back and forth. It honestly could have gone either way, but it was a W Tachanka play up on the second floor.
Yeah, no kidding. That's the one caveat with Tachanka, right? I'd say 90% of the time, in my honest opinion, is a bad call solo played. Well, we'll drop it down to like 75 or 65%, effective when coupled with another area denial operator. But then when you put Tachanka and that LMG in the hands of somebody that knows what the hell they're doing, it is absolute domination. It is raining fire from above, a baptism in flames, and then an LMG, enough bullets to kill them all. I'm not a Tachanka fan, but I tell you what, I am a DD Man fan.
Yeah, that was a W play for sure. So now we're going to go down to that basement. And if you took a look at where, that first half of the game, Daystar won all of their second floor and bunks briefing sites, and CAG found success downstairs in the basement. Are they going to swap this time around? Is basement going to be a attacker-sided site, at least here for this map, or is it all about how it's playing out? Certainly the basement's got way more rooms, tons of opportunities, places for them to hide, and this CAG defense a little bit more spread out. 3 of the players upstairs on that first floor, so certainly not bunkered back down, but not a full extension, full roam upstairs on that second floor. They're playing close to home, playing the vertical here. And I'm going to give Daystar some time. There right now, everybody's still outside the map. We've burned a full minute, and it's just been intel gathering at this point. No real map control taken.
Well, and it's starting to see the defense filter back down to filter. I read filtration and said that. Starting to make their way, I guess it works. Starting to make their way back down to the basement as well. Still have the lone survivor, Chibisu, sitting up there trying to play flank, playing onto that lurk roll. Eventually, when Sledge and Ram get into place and start opening everything up, could be that factor, that impact play for sure. But then you're going to have to make it down for the turtle strat as everybody else on the defense is down there.
Man, just killing time right now. A minute 21, and they haven't really found a significant push in until we freaking say it. Chibisu, he found 2 big kills, like back on round, what was that, round 2 maybe? Round 5? Since then, just unsuccessful. The first guy to go down several rounds in a row gives a big boost here to the Daystar attack. So working on burning some of this defensive utility as well. Bait out the smokes, try and clear out the Goyo canisters, give them some room to work. And with 50 seconds left, it's still plenty of time for the attack as they get ready for the execute. Need to clear DD, man. You said you were a fan. Is he going to win on the stairs?
Well, he's holding it just like you would see on Bank Blue, right? He's got such a power position, holding onto the stairs, still having the smoke in hands and a shotgun should they decide to test it. It completely stopped the approach earlier. Flash goes out, though, and that's going to find the death. This is the SMG-12 was able to take DD Man off the board. Man advantage by 2 now for Daystar as they claim themselves a really good position to get themselves in for a plant. Grenade's going to force one back, and that's going to be Joe Gores to find Shoe Reap off the boards. The headshot rings out. Now it's going to be all up to Anaton and that SMG, that Vector to find one. Does a little bit of damage, but that's the plant starting to go down. Flawless round as the vertical comes through.
Wow, what in the level of interaction we saw on that round, I'm honestly just amazed that was a Daystar flawless. Right, there was so many trades going back and forth from utility, from bullets. The fact that that Keg could not pick off a single Daystar operator is a little bit shocking with how much chaos we saw from the end of that round. There it is, basement. Boy, this is interesting that they're going back and forth. The exact opposite.
Attackers
that
need
right
to
now,
locate and
basement.
defuse bombs.
Attackers sided so far on Lair between these two teams. The rest of the sites, defensive lockdown. So if we can continue the trend, we're going to see Keg
Attackers have located
go
a
up
bomb.
4-5 to try and even this thing back up. But man, great vertical play from Daystar. We'll see if they can pull that off again. Again, huge focus upstairs on this R6 room defense from Keg. They've committed a bunch of players upstairs, reinforcing, opening those walls. Set up, my friend.
No kidding. They're going to try to lock this
10
thing
seconds
down.
to go.
I love the castle being brought out here. If you've ever watched the double shot, you know I
5
think this
seconds
is
left.
probably one of the most underrated defenders that there is. So great at forcing your
objective
hand
is to defuse
to
the
bring
bomb.
operators to deal with the castles and slowing down pace. And in the hands of Anaton, absolutely legendary. Solus is on the board, going to opt for the shotgun this time instead of the P90. Also feels like it could be a potential win scenario. If you're a CAG fan, you're wanting that to go down. Daystar looking to put themselves on a match point.
Right here, this time Souffle running that ace, gonna work on opening up that main breach. We're gonna get impact trick potentially. Joe Gore, I mean, sitting at that top frag, but everybody very close here on this Daystar attack. And Shoe Reap upstairs holding on. Look at this. Do they know he's got the opportunity to swing? Is he gonna swing it? He goes for 2. No, what?
Oh, shotgun. Prone. Good night. Shoe Reap unstoppable. He said there last time with the Azami and almost got sussed out, almost loses his life. He pulls the same strat. He rats and he's good for 2 on that one. Huge play.
Oh man, I honestly can't believe he went for the rappel. I mean, maybe didn't know that Hibana was on her drone right there.
He knew.
Had to have heard that sound cue, but why not go? Why not go for the Hibana first? I mean, that is just a heads-up play. Why these guys are the pros. He takes the shot and expects that he can try and win that second battle, and absolutely does. Goes up 9-6, and how about a triple for him on this round? What a play.
No kidding, on pace for the ace, and that's just why they are the pro players, right? Patience, presence of mind, take the shot that's going to be the most impactful. You know you're going to win a shotgun battle on somebody close. Now down behind the desk is a couple of shots ring out. Ying trying to find one. Shoe
Missed them all?
into a low health scenario as he goes prone. They're
No
not able
way.
to find it just
No
yet.
way. What?
He just gets locked into the corner. Finally able to answer back. Reaper's able to take Shoe Reap off the board, but the damage has been done. DD Man with a shotgun is going to say good night and sleep tight as he prone walks up to find that one. Looked like a Shome peak with on a prone position. Like, how do you even do that? Mechanically gifted.
That was a wild play there as well. Shoe Reap was like basically invincible, like the Matrix in real time as he dodges every single bullet through the wall. I thought for sure he goes down after Ying, flashes twice in there, takes shots with the shotgun. Reaper annihilates that wall and somehow absolutely survives the barrage. And Kag, what a play. You take a look at this score line and realize even though Daystar was up, this has certainly been an even better back and forth battle between evenly matched teams, and too early to call, my friend, because this was definitely Kag's map. We were high on Kag coming in on Lair. Daystar has answered back, I think, in a way that I know there's some Daystar fans in the chat, but man, what a play.
You know what's crazy, Run, is getting to cast Daystar and APL now puts us in like 3 of the 4 big regions that we've cast Daystar in, right? We did Daystar in the ESA Cup for I believe their controller league. We've done Daystar in NA as they've got that Daystar when it was the Daystar ACAD team, and now full circle almost into APL where we're getting to watch kind of the big boys and what they bring to the table. This is just fun. I freaking love this game.
Attackers need to locate and defuse this.
Yeah, and
bomb
honestly,
if they can.
a W org met some of the guys from the Daystar team out in Daystar leadership out in Montreal. So appreciate everybody being here, joining us for that. Now, after that last interaction with Shureep going crazy and then the battle, they say, I don't want to have to deal with the Ying this time. So go ahead and get rid of the Ying. Again, all of the cheese ops gone. Force the Daystar attack into being more strategic. So what does that mean? Get rid of the K's so that way it makes it
10
just
seconds
a
to
little
go.
bit easier. So I'll be successful with the ace, but they're going to have to be better
5
this
seconds to
time
go.
around upstairs. And crazy. Once again, 2F,
Attackers are
bunks
moving to defuse the
briefing,
bomb.
defensive strongholds. The basement is the place the attackers have won rounds on both sides of the map.
Okay. Close to tying this one up on map number 1. Whiskey, we've got ourselves a game. We're going to see the Tachanka back on board, but he's not going to be locked up with the double for the area denial, so potential to be that last hope that if they start getting in and taking that space. A little bit of a switch up here by Daystar as they're bringing the Aurora out and locking down some of those doorways, and I love that because it's like castle on the other side, right? You all of a sudden you have locked down a way that you thought you had a pinch going on. Could be a huge play if it works out.
Boy, we talked about getting rid of the K to try and make it easier to open up all these walls, but look at this. They have absolutely locked in on the Bandit and the Mute combination, so trying very hard to keep that operational side close, but I like that strategy there. Use the railroad to block off that op door, use the impact EMP to make sure that thing gets opened, and now you can put pressure on the office player. But got to get the other piece of this done. They're going to have to try and close off and open the wall from that outside balcony. And look at that. I think, was that it looked like the Raor gadget got destroyed. Did it hit the electricity? Oh, I heard something.
Not sure. Either way, you're going to start seeing that Dokkaebi all go out as they're going to take that first engagement. And
What a
there it is.
DMR.
Chibisu, life is forfeit as the DMR is going to claim a headshot and the man advantage. Just over 60 to try and get this one solidified here. Still got plenty of time for Daystar, and now that they've gone up in the man advantage by 2, this starts to feel a lot more doable.
This is a complete redirection, right? The whole op side of this has been completely abandoned, and they're focusing on the focusing on the server side. And our Cully goes for it, takes a shot, trades back and forth as it takes the fire down and leaves it in a 2v2. Oh no! Out of a 2v1 now is Daystar Azuki, the last man left alive.
They got a little bit of an idea where he is. He's going to go for the pistol pop, but Anaton's on the other side of it, and it's a good night's sleep tight as he locks down the door and finds the shot.
Tied up, my friend. Again, we see a second floor defensive win, locked in, tied up, and this is the big turning point here. Daystar, they found the attacking win on basement flawlessly back on round 8. The basement has been an attacker win all 3 times it's been played on the map today. Are we going to see it again, or is this the place that CAG turns
Attackers
it
need to
around,
locate and
locks
defuse
it in,
bomb.
puts them on map point for their map pick to send us into Nighthaven? Man, this has been a great battle back and forth. No real dominant play from either side. Just a couple of flawless, the timeouts in play, so they're taking this SILCQ very seriously. And if you're just joining us, welcome in. Only one team can move forward in the SILCQs to earn that APL spot. 8 teams were left in the bracket in the playoffs. By the end of tonight, I believe we're going to be down to 6, with the rest
10
of those
seconds
games
left before
taking place
insertion.
over the next 2 days to decide who gets that spot.
5 seconds to insertion.
Okay, run.
Attacker's objective is to
Tied
locate a
up.
bomb and defuse it.
5-5. A little bit of pressure now on the Daystar, as you know they had such a strong start, but it's his defensive side. We talked about this potentially being the map that they're. Well, I mean that they wanted to win, right? Because it was CAG's map pick they were so dominant on before, and that leads to a very strong second map for them. So if you're a Daystar fan, you're going, dang, man, I can't believe they brought it all the way back up. But we talked about this one potentially being the one for overtime right out the gate, and it's looking like we might get there.
Yeah, you called that early on, and I think just the way that we saw both of these teams playing, much more locked in, matched skill levels at this point, a little bit of an answer back for everything that the other team was bringing. We haven't seen a significant opportunity there from either of these teams where, you know, they're making a lot of mistakes and the other team is capitalizing on it. There's just a few mistakes, and both of the teams there ready and waiting when it happens. There's been a couple of great shots, but wow.
Well, there's a couple of great shots.
Man, the SMGs are just on fire tonight.
No kidding. Yeah, just absolutely head tapping. They claim 2. They get the sledge off the board, so pretty close to equalizing, but man advantage down to the attackers, and so much time left for these 2 teams to work, right? So, specifically for Daystar to work. They find one more, they're going to be in a great position to get an execute down.
Getting down to it, half the round gone. We're sitting in a 4v3, and man, that Dokkaebi just annoying right now. No opportunity to clear her off the board, and Azuki takes down our Cully. But Shu Reap, man, what an answer back. 11-8 as he evens this thing up with a minute left. Wow, what a turnaround here for CAG. This has been the attacker stronghold. Is this going to be the place that CAG turns it around? He's going to take down that castle barricade, but Daystar has the diffuser. It can get the execute in play because you have the combination of the Dokkaebi, that DMR, and the Monty. Huge opportunity here for the attack. What can CAG do? They don't have only one more of those smoke canisters in play, and Peak has been on fire, my friend.
Now into a 2-1. Smoke still has 1 canister in. They know where he's at. The flash is going to ring out, and that's going to send him to the other side. A shotgun in hand as he tries to hold out for the last 28 seconds. Fires there in a prone position. The shield is up and in their face.
No way!
That second one, he finds it, but it's going to be, oh man, a pistol pop. Beautiful pincher move by the 2 attackers, and they're going to find themselves on a match point scenario.
Oh man. You called overtime so long ago, and this thing has been strategic. It has been almost predictable at that point, as once again we see a basement attacking win for the 4th time on the map tonight. Wild, my friend. Got to ask ourselves the same question. Basement was incredibly static at this point, with the attackers always winning. Bunk's briefing has been the opposite. Defensive wins all 3
Attackers
times
need to
has been
locate and
played.
defuse as
Is
many
this
bombs as
going
they
to
can.
be the time that Daystar can flip the switch and find an attacking win here on that first floor? Again, so much focus upstairs on that R6 room 2F. Both teams playing vertical very well. There's it's going to come down to, I think, that opening pick initially, and they shut down Shu Reap. 11-9-2. And that when he's picking up those kills, incredibly impactful, right? DD Man's is 1 kill above him, but it doesn't feel like his have been,
10
you know,
seconds to insertion.
like those game-winning, momentum-turning type
5 seconds
that we're seeing
remaining.
from Shu Reap. He's the guy that they got to watch out for.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Oh man, the pressure's on, Run. Match point, Daystar trying to come up on CAG's map pick, and if they get it, this could spell disaster for this CAG team, sending them down into the lowers. We got a pretty stacked defense put together for this. It's one that has worked before, so potential to find that first entry or early kill is going to be huge. Shoereap has been kind of that factor. Sits at 11 and 9, and it has been across the board. And one of the last times that we saw the first, he got that 3-piece. So I think probably step number one, going to be chasing him off that second floor.
100%. They have clearing vertical is absolutely essential at this point. You can see sometimes the plant goes down, but it is rarely successful, including in the post-plant scenario. They are required at this point to try and clear that second floor, which is why CAG has got so much resources stacked upstairs. 4 of the 5 is only our Cully holding on to that first. Maybe an opportunity for a little bit of a diversion, but it is generally unsuccessful. They need to work this top floor hard. So they're pushing in on the outside, and you can see those blue outlines. They're ready. It's a shotgun battle, though, for our 6th room.
Still no engagement. First minute has gone down. They've sussed out where these defenders are lying at. It's still a huge attention to the vertical here as they've got this floor completely opened up. Now, main breach has been opened. They've got a chance to get in, but unless they deal with this vertical, it's going to be a non-factor. So they started to make their way up. We've got 3 people up to deal with the 3 that were up there holding. Now down into 2 as the time starts to tick down. Defense will start to get closer and closer to rotating back down side and just holding on, waiting for the trade game, as now they've got themselves a good opportunity for that.
Oh, look at that. That C4 goes out, and there it is. Chibisu nails it. Oh, no, and Shuri picks up another, takes down the hero of the last round. Man, that was absolutely legendary for that CAG double kill with 50 seconds left in the round. And they're 1 round away from sending this thing to overtime, my friend. It's a 5v3. CAG is in a great spot.
Ooh. Man, DD Man, live forfeit, head deleted as that new DMR is able to reach out and claim one. And look at that, the double kill now is it's 2. A shotgun to find it, as Shoereap is able to find one. Anakin gets it as well. It's all going to be up to the Thermite, who finds 1. Now in a prone position as they find themselves in a, man, it's still got a little bit of the vertical and somebody down on site. This is a tough thing for Thermite to bring back into action in only 15 seconds in which to get it done. Still looking for him. Up on the top, they're going to find it. Arculi finds it, and that's going to be taking us to overtime.
That's right, my friend. We are going to overtime. What a consistent map across the board, attack and defense. Man, that was very site-specific. I feel like you rarely see the game played out that predictably. 2F, first floor bunks were defensive strongholds across the board. No matter who played it, it didn't matter. The defense was winning. The opposite was true of the basement, absolutely locked in. So here's the big question. Who's starting off on defense? This has been a defensive-sided map. It's unlikely we're going to see the basement based on these stats unless one of the teams makes a mistake. So we're going to be upstairs on that second floor is the opportunity for Daystar to shut the statistics down, find a win here.
I love it. We called it right before this one started that this was a potential finals match, right? It had the implications, both teams being so incredibly talented, so mechanically gifted, and map pools that are incredibly deep. We said this first map was going to be a banger, and the potential for overtime was here. Run, it's here. Tachanka back on the board. He's going to be coupled with the smoke this time. I think that's the right call as they're going to attempt to hang on to this second floor. And this time Glaz getting switched out back for the Aurora. And I don't know. Well, I like the Aurora, but I think the Glaz is a big fit here, especially when having to deal with those Kiba barriers.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? As you try and go back and forth, which one is the right pick now? We saw Jogor, I mean, you said it, back and forth with the glass. He had a great round. Now, there's also a couple strategies that we've seen be very successful with Aurora as well. Trying to shut down that operation door, open up the wall, and then try and block off the wall, the door from the from the office, right, and reduce the impact of the Azami. So there are some opportunities there, but man, she got close to throwing her life away over on the op side before this thing really even got going.
Reap is a low health situation. Still the frag leader here for CAG. Took a couple of shots, risked it all, and almost paid the ultimate price. Starting to open up from operational. Got an idea, of course, that we're holding on to those stairs, and there's going to be the Tachanka starting to rain down some of that terrible fire action.
Selma sequence activated.
Man, as it gets down to it, minute 40, close to halfway through. All 10 left alive. Shreep's the only one that has lost a significant portion of his health. He said at 13-9 into. Crazy good game here, and it feels like Daystar's playing a little bit more timidly. We talked about that early on. They were moving a little bit slower, but man, Jogor, the glass, not necessary. He's got the DMR in hand. There's a bunch of DMRs in the hand of this Daystar team. 3v5, no way. The attackers, a significant advantage. This could be the one that turns the tide.
Man, that's a tough one, but you still got DD Man on the Lord himself to be able to hold it off. He's got his LMG. He's got a potential to send it towards that default plant, so still in a good position to hold. 56 seconds. If CAG can find themselves 1 or 2 to equalize here, this could put him in a good position to find it, and that's going to be a huge start. Chibisu is able to take one off the board with some wonderful shotgun play. Now, the Ace gets inside. He starts going for the plant. That's going to be the Tachanka sending fires out, and it's going to get the kill as Dokubi gets taken off the board, and Ace goes down, so it's a post-plant scenario, but all of a sudden, CAG finds themselves with the numbers advantage. Shotgun up in hand, and it's just doing work. All going to be put onto the shoulders of Jogor, trying to bring this one back, and it's not going to happen. Reap is going to find it, and they're going to be able to take that first round of overtime.
Wow. What a wild turn of events. I thought this was it. I thought we were going to see the attackers pick up a round there, and CAG pulls it off. Second floor defensive stronghold in hand. Now 1 round away, back on match point again. Can they pull it off? Daystar, though, they get their opportunity to play defense, locked in, and man, if the statistics hold, we're going to see round 15 is, yes, they do indeed play the second floor.
Okay, match point scenario again. CAG feeling like they might be getting away with one here, but of course not if Daystar has anything to say about it. Folks, I just want to remind you, this is map 1, right? This is map 1 in a best of 3. We're not talking sprint towards the end here. This is going to be a best of 3 marathon for sure.
Appreciate the NA crowd that's joining us for this one as it gets to be late. Appreciate everybody being here and all the new people joining, finding the stream. We've been covering all of the LCQs, all of Challengers Series, well, basically all of the blast matches we can here on the Siege Double Shot for the last 2 years, and we appreciate you being here with us tonight or today, depending on where you're at. CAG is now 1 round away from closing their map pick out. Daystar looking to send it to round 15. The stats say this is Daystar's round. We're going to 15 after that, but man, CAG, I mean, it's their map pick, right? This is the time to come alive. Show why you belong in this spot, why you picked Lair. Let's see it happen right now, my friend.
Holding on to the stairs. You can see some cheese ops back into the hands of CAG here as the Ying is back on board. Striker back on board. Arcool has just been insane with the thermite today, and not just in opening it up, but kill-wise as well. Having a little bit less, or a little bit more of a struggle this round, but I mean, 7-9 on support feels like it's still a pretty good place to find yourself, especially when you're up. Look at this, though. This is a big play. All the way down at the basement, waiting to see a potential run out, waiting to get active when a rappel goes down. And they got a little bit of an idea that that might be the case. Yin Candel is going to ring out. Is it going to get a drone in and take a quick look at it?
The first minute just ticked away at this point. Now they're finally going to open that wall back up again. R. Kelly has been incredibly successful with that thermite, despite having to work around the 2 barrel charges that can slow him down. So following the same pattern, get that operational side opened up, open up the main breach on the outside. But Chibisu is going to take down Joe Gore. That is huge. He felt like he has been the guy to come in clutch for this Daystar team over and over and over, and they lose the smoke. That area denial gone. Big pick, huge pick here for CAG.
Yeah, no kidding. So now they claim that man advantage, and they've dusted half of the area denial. Look at the cut, look at the hold, look at it being absolutely punished as they get the down onto Wamai. A second swing is going to see, well, nothing actually, as he's able to live into the prone position. SMG-12 comes out to try and take a shot, but it's going to be returned as Shureep goes down. The headshot rings out from Ella. So main advantage now claimed by one. Pushing up is looking to find one on the door. Flashes ring out. You're going to have to pre-fire. Your life is now going to be forfeit. He's able to survive, takes a quick Art Cooley, good night, and then it's answered back again as DD Man goes down, puts us into a 3-2 as defense now just has to hold on for the last 41 seconds. Looking for a prone position, sees the outline of the gun. Repel, not quite going to be in a place that can get it done. A little bit of a pinch, a little bit of, oh no, it gets the down. Now into a 2-2 run. Huge.
No way. No way!
Oh! Triple kill, nasty, finds it. Chibisu, the last alive in this 1v3. He has one bullet to get it done, and it's not even gonna matter because it's a headshot. Good night and sleep tight. We're tied up.
Man, what a roller coaster of emotions these rounds have been, my friend. I mean, we said that looked like that was a CAG win. They had that thing on lockdown. Daystar follow, just rides the statistical wave to a win and sends us to round 15. Overtime match point. All 15 required. No more opportunity. Somebody has got to win this one. And look at that. Rather than play the secondary site, they've been reading the tea leaves, my friend. Bunk's briefing is the place. Never been lost by the defense in this map. Today,
Attackers need to locate
the 4
and
times
defuse
it was
bomb.
previously played. Again, Daystar now, their opportunity to shock the statistics into a win on the tertiary site. Can they pull it off?
Good question, I'm glad you asked. And the answer to that question is I have no freaking clue. I can't call it. We're 7-7 tied up here, run on map 1, and I cannot tell you who's walking away with this one. Maybe who gets that first entry might just be the big pick here into seeing this one through. Lots of slowdown on the side of the defense, double duty on the architect, coupled up with Anakin on the castle as well. So really going to be leaning into setting that pace very early here by the defense, and they're going to need it because Daystar, they're coming with heat.
To locate a bomb and defuse it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so we combination of a lot of different styles of attack here from Daystar, right? They're bringing a little bit of everything. The Capital, the Blitz, the Sends for distraction, a little roam clear, and then making sure they get all of that main breach open. So, again, strong focus upstairs on this 2F. What has CAG got holding on? Yeah, they got the Azami. They have the Mute, and they have the Castle. So, locked in. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that Shureep wasn't up there, but he's holding on to Armory and sort of at lurk roll downstairs. But it's so clear
That is the
Daystar's
greatest
gonna be pushing that
moment
upstairs,
in my life, bro.
the upstairs side of this map. They've got it. They have got to lock in. Oh, look at this. There he is, looking for the lurk.
Starting to make his way up the back stairs. They've got an idea that he's here, and that's a nope right on out of there as the Blitz is going to stop that push just a little bit. Shureep says, you know what, we'll live to fight another day instead.
Did he put the thermite charge on the window barricade?
Listen, you've got 3. You can do whatever the heck you want with those things now.
All right, you know what? I'm here for it. Bring it on, my friend. You know, I just use the util that you got now. I thought we saw him put it on that on the main breach as well. So they at least have got this. Yeah, they've got the first piece of this thing opened up, and it's a lurk. It's a lurk v lurk on that first floor with the Dokubi looking for the Solus. A little bit of hunting back and forth, and you know I gotta say thank you very much for the tier 1, Starbo. We appreciate you, Jay.
Hey, yo, appreciate ya, homie. All right, equalized. DD Man gets taken off the board, headshot rings out, and again, no surprises, it's going to be the Thermite finding that kill, and that's kind of been the theme of the day. Hard breach extraordinaire on both sides of it, opening the walls, getting the kills, being that absolute supreme support. Blitz now up onto the top floor. Looking to push out Mute, who still sits up there, but he's got some help. Anakin in the hands of the Castle, or Castle in the hands of Anakin, I should say, is still holding on to the 2F appearance, but it's back over by the servers. So tied up 4-piece, 39 seconds as it starts to count down, and this is going to be the big one. Potentially, Shuik is going to get taken off the board.
No way!
That's going to be huge. SMG 12 finds one. SMG 11 rings back, now into a 1v2. Mute, the last one alive for CAG to try to keep this up, and they've still got the Spearhead. They still got the Blitz. They both made their way back down.
It dropped down.
Vertical still to be had. He's got the C4 in hands. He could still do some damage with this one, especially if he finds it in the right spot. Looking for that vertical play. Looking for the plant. 11 seconds between Destiny. He's going to get the potentially the down. He's looking for the feed. He does. Triple kill rings out. Now it's all going to be up to Thermite, who has to get this plant down. Making the drop. C4 in hands. Still can send it long. He takes it long, and CAG's going to pull it out by the skin of their teeth. Just absolute one-on-one action towards the very end of it. We said we couldn't call it. It needed all 15. And Run, that is a bucket list fulfilled. It's the 1v1 on the match point scenario that claims it. Sheesh.
No way, my friend. To come down to the very end, you said it, 1v1, 8-7 victory for CAG. Man, what a way to end that round. Unbelievable play, and man, the statistics held. The defense wins every single time on that bunks briefing. What a wild stat. Normally, the place you see the attackers win, and I honestly can't believe it. What a shocking way, and that was only, you said it, map 1 of the best of 3. We have got potentially 2 more to go if Daystar can find a win here on map 2. We have got to get ourselves set up and ready for Nighthaven.
I see no reason why Daystar doesn't walk away with map 2 and give us a third. I see no reason that doesn't happen. CAG is firing. They're looking great, but so is Daystar. It came down to the very final seconds, the very final players, and the very final potential to plant. And yeah, beautiful, beautiful, absolute cinema. So we're looking for the next one, right? We're going to head over to map number 2, but we got to get that lobby set back up first. So hang out, fill up your drinks, get your snacks ready, and lock the heck in, because we're bringing you an absolute barn burner when we come back. Ayo.
Let's go.
Oh, what's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. It's 2 a.m. here in the NA for us, and we are continuing on with map number 2 that almost can promise a map number 3. I'm so excited to get into this next one. Nighthaven on the way.
Let's go, Nighthaven. Man, I've been looking forward to this one. This is one of our favorite maps. We absolutely love getting the chance to see Nighthaven in the pool again, and between 2 fantastic teams. Man, I cannot wait for this one. The bans are going in, and what a heartbreaking loss there for Daystar. So close. 8-7 as it came down to it. Man, the side choice won that map, and when it comes down to it, it was CAG's map pick, perfectly played by them. So Daystar, you put up a hell of a good fight. You showed some weaknesses and very little mistakes made over the course of that map. Now on your map pick, I am really looking forward to what is going to be a fantastic round from these guys.
Okay, on to Nighthaven. I said it's one of my favorite maps, and let me tell you why. There is so much variety to this map, right? In the way that you attack it, in the way that you defend it. There's just, honestly, based on bans, you can bring a lot to the table. And what do they choose for the bans to go forward? Cade and Clash on the side of the defense. Don't want to deal with that mobile Mira and getting those walls and hatches opened up when they head down to the basement. And then on the other side, Selma Charge is gone from Ace on the ban, and then Graham again.
Yeah, Grim is just so good at trying to lock down the defense, giving them very little option to move around without that intel. And the attacker intel, the attacker util side, so very successful, really across the board. So Ace is the big one, though. Ace is very good on this round. They didn't ban out the Mira, which means that without having the Ace, it's going to force this attacking team into having to deal with the mirror windows more directly. It didn't bring anything. No Ashe, no Aces banned out, but no Hibana either. That's going to really increase the value of Anaton's mirror here.
Potentially. I mean, Twitch is on the board. They can get sneaky. They get a little sniper shot. They can get them mirror windows dealt with. Here's the concern, or one of them at least. There's a C4 that's prime prepped and ready towards that main breach area should they try to get up and put themselves in a position to open up that wall. No thermite, though. You're right. That does make that a little bit tougher after a while on the can opener. Some ones already destined, so maybe more of an investment
so close.
taking some of that space.
Man, I love this vertical play from down below. You got the buck. I mean, if you're rather than trying to open some of that up directly, having to deal with the mirror, yeah, use the buck from down below. And it's one of those things that is dangerous overall for the attackers. It can work, but they need to play that very carefully overall. So, interestingly, again, everybody just sort of avoiding each other. No real damage done at this point until, just as I say it, Peak picks up one as he takes down our Cully, and that is the Azami.
Yeah, big first pick there, especially because he's going for that late round reinforcement, right? Blocking off that catwalk so you're forced to walk through the doorways or the can openers of the main breach. So huge early first pick. That means some of those key barriers not going to get put out into Nighthaven, at least for round number 1.
The final minute of gameplay is done, and even though the defense is down a man, they still have got this thing relatively locked in. And without without some significant hard breach here, it's going to make that a little bit difficult. But Joe Gore, and huge, and then answered back by DD with that shoddy 4v3. So just some trades going back and forth. The vertical still being played from down below, but with 44, they got to get this execute going.
That's right. Now puts it into a 1v3. You know what? Just go for the kills, I guess. Ella going to get wall banged as she tries to bring that back. And Daystar is going to start out with a fantastic round number 1.
Again, playing the vertical just a little bit better there versus this CAG team. You had the Buck putting pressure on IT just consistently, constantly, really not giving the defense any room to move on that side. So even though they reinforced off the rotate from the catwalk into sight, it still gave them the flexibility to move around on the IT side. So they could put pressure on the attacking team. Buck was down there on the defense, and Buck was just down there opening up the floor, keeping that pressure on constantly. So I like the way that one played out. Daystar attacking win on that 2F in CAG. Rather than try and play it again, they're going to keep the round rotate up. That feels very consistent across the board with these APL teams is, you know what, don't not go back. That site is in the past. Keep the plan up. Keep the rotation going. Keep the consistency rather than try and replay something. That feels, across the board in all of the maps we've seen so far. That's been the CAG strat.
Yeah, and I like it, right? Yeah. It's keeping the routine up and giving yourself a little bit of extra time to talk about what went wrong in that. So when it comes up, you're able to have a little bit more time during your timeout to speak about the things that matter and potentially adapt to it on the other side of it.
All right, a little slowdown city on this on the CAG defensive side. A combination of the Malusi and the smoke and the intel deny here from the mute and just shotguns. Lots of them on the board, but Anaton running that vector, C4 in hand, and you can see the only one holding onto that basement. Everybody else upstairs on that first floor, expecting this push in from Daystar. Now, the thing about it is, look at this, they didn't reinforce off that single. And no real hold on that main breach. You could hear the mute chamber, but they're able to get a sight line in from the can opener, and they've opened up the single. So there's plenty of opportunity on this basement site to be able to put some pressure, but it's DD. It's going to take down the striker here to open things up.
huge entry first pick, and honestly, they still have
What a flank!
like 7 of 10 of the reinforcements on it, so really just a ton of soft breach, but doesn't seem to matter, right? They're just going to go out and click heads, and CAG's doing a wonderful job on that for this basement round as they find themselves up 5-2 with really just a ton of time. Blackbeard finally able to answer and stop the flow of bleeding here as Daystar finds their first kill for round number 2. And just put him into a 4-2. Still a significant man advantage into the hands of CAG, but definitely not unwinnable given how much time is left.
Yeah, it's one of these strats I think I really enjoy seeing from the defense is like this baiting the team in, invite them in. I'm not going to reinforce it off. You know what? Bring it on. I'm going to take that battle directly regardless, and sometimes makes this the attacking team feel a little overconfident approaching some of those soft walls, and then the defense just makes them pay for it. So you can see a lot of intel coming out from the attackers upstairs trying to play the vertical down, but you know what? They can just waste time. Take a couple shots. Fight along with the Malusi, but then Chibisu upstairs holding on to that power position. Big flank coming out here from this defense, and they look poised to answer back.
Yeah, a 1v4 with the shield left alive usually spells disaster, and that's going to be exactly what it is here. They were just able to overwhelm plenty of positions that you had to recover from, and they're going to find their first, and they're going to do it on the basement. So we're going to get ourselves tied up 1-1 here. CAG is able to take one on the defense, and now keep that rotate going. We're going to head up to that first floor.
This is interesting. So the timeout buff was successful the first that first map, and we didn't get to see it. You know, we didn't see it in that first best of 3 from CAG, but they were successful their first time back on round 4. They take the pause and win against that Daystar defense. Now Daystar going to try the same strat. The only difference is they're going to catch it before the first quarter is over, before that next ban goes in. They want to try and take advantage of the fact that only 2 operators are banned out. They only have to deal with not having the ace and the grim available. So what can they do to work around this team? 2F has been a Daystar victory. Basement goes to the CAG team. Now, they're going to try and replay either? Nah, man. Keep it going. Keep it rolling. Control storage is the next place.
This is kind of one of my favorite sites here on Nighthaven, both for the defensive and the attacking aspect of it, right? When we watched this in Challenger Series and that run that M80X was having on it, it was a very simple strat. They open up the main breach upstairs, force a little bit of movement, enough that they can get in off the pillar and find themselves a plant with the shield, and it worked miraculously time and time again. But if you're able to hold on to 2F, and they've got the Mira available to help do just that, it can be a devastating spot to try to get into. So how much investment is going up to that top floor? Well, I think that might determine how the round goes.
10 seconds to go.
This is one, too, that I like when you see the defense. They've got 3 C4s on the
5
board.
seconds remaining.
Play down below. Play the basement. Play up to try and take
Attackers are
advantage
moving
of
to
maybe
defuse
a
the bomb.
quick plant execute there from the Daystar attack team. So they don't feel like they've set themselves up for the quick plant. Again, they brought along the combination of, look at this, baiting the attackers in. The wall is open, so they're not going to be able to just walk right up to the warehouse side and, you know what, take some shots. That is wide open, unreinforced, and honestly, I like it. It feels like a confident, aggressive defensive play from CAG. Let's see this one go.
Yeah, that's the I wish you would strat, right? I wish you would try to put pressure on the window. I wish you would try to take a fight onto the catwalk with plenty of opportunity to respond to it. Now, as they start to make their way up, you can see that Joe Gores has put himself onto the second floor, the lone member trying to find that first entry pick, and he's going to try to do it onto Anaton, who is holding on to that main break. Now, Mav is going to be able to open up, so the bandit charge not going to be effective any longer, but a C4 could spell disaster for sure.
Look at that, taking down both of his bandit charges as he is trying to maybe take a C4 shot here on Mav. He's working slowly to get this wall open. That is very slow from a hard breach perspective, and doesn't really feel like the way that we had seen this team play out the hard breach on Lair. Right? It's just taking forever to Mav to try and get that wall open. Finally, we see it at a minute 33. Finally, that wall gets opened, and there the pop shot comes out. Ananton does not hit with that C4. He's still holding on to that IT wall, though.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? Vector rings out and takes Jogors off the board and does get answered back.
A trade
goes down, but it responded again. Arkley going to continue that reign of terror that he had on the first, but they've still got presence upstairs. They still have the mirror that's holding on to it in a good power position to do so. Arkley is down, so technically puts us into a 3-3 scenario. They've rotated down Aqua and now going to put themselves in potential to get them back down to sight. Bunker up, turtle strap for the last part of this. Shots are going to fire out. Chibisu is able to find Souffle off the board, and that's a huge pick. Now claiming that man advantage. CAG looking to go up in the score line here with this one, and all they got to do is hold out for 40 more seconds.
Playing from down below, the vertical comes in, and Sharif wins that battle. 30 seconds left. One more Daystar attacker left alive. Gav has pretty much got this thing on lockdown. It's going to be Sharif one more time. Man, he's been hitting all his shots, absolutely on fire. These last, a couple of these rounds. He hasn't been consistent enough to make it a one-sided landslide for CAG because Daystar has been in it. But, man, when you need him, he has shown up.
Okay, 2-1 we find ourselves. A very strong start from Daystar, but a great answer back from CAG. So we find ourselves in the second quarter of play here, which means the bands come through and some interesting ones. Azami, there's no surprise there, right? You find yourself with that static warfare, that dug in, that trench, and it proved to be very difficult for Daystar to deal with. On the other side of it, it's a Nomad band. And honestly, I'd like it. I like it, honestly. The Nomad has proved to be very impactful when holding down the flank, when taking care of those lurkers and giving you those sound cues that somebody's sneaking up behind you, and a great gun to boot. I'm happy with that band.
Well, and it feels like CAG has been a little bit more comfortable trying to play this this lurk role, this roam game more successfully than they had previously, right? Again, both of the teams playing like they're a little bit more confident, but certainly more on the CAG side. Daystar feels maybe just a little bit more timid in it, and honestly feels like they need to step it up a bit. CAG is playing a little bit unconventionally here on Nighthaven, right? Leaving some of these walls soft, inviting the attackers in, trying to catch them off guard. And CAG right now is they are boosted their gameplay, and Daystar is going to have to watch out at this point.
All right, shield duty back into play. Blackbeard going to try to become that X factor, especially when pushing up towards those, towards that Mira stuck in position, trying to force some of them back with those grenades in hand. And then a little bit of a switch up. Legion is going to be utilized here, and I love the Legion. I think he's great for dealing with the shields. I think he's great for that slowdown, and a great gun to boot. Bringing out some BP and a little bit of intel means those C4s might get a little bit more on the money when they start to make that push in.
See, again, it feels like Daystar's moving a little bit too slowly. Everybody outside of the maps, though. We burn that first minute down. That wall's still locked down, half open. Legion there to take a couple shots, but look at this. I mean, trying to find a flank, trying to find this roamer downstairs. Sharif is holding on to this spot, and it doesn't feel like Daystar knows at all. No intel. He wins that battle, playing off the mute jammer perfectly. And Daystar right now feels like they are absolutely on the back foot.
Beautiful sniper shot by the Twitch as they're able to get that mirror opened up onto the catwalk, which means they can get a little more pressure onto this defense now, allow some of this utility to go through. Is specifically talking those grenades and potential catapults, right? Those are going to be some movement makers. Sharif, again, just being absolutely a dominant force to deal with. He does lose his life in the process, but they claim that man advantage by 1 with just over a minute to go.
Yeah, huge play. Huge play. I mean, sitting at 5-3, but Didi 5-1-1, Chibisu 3-1. They're just right now locked in. So from the Daystar attack, you still got 3 guys left alive. There's one of those Twitch drones still, but they managed to open up all those mirror windows, so they've got some sight lines in. Having to deal with the electricity still at this point, but CAG's holding on to the power positions. Nobody over on the river sides. They don't have any pressure on the back of the site. They're going to have to try and swing in these angles. And look at that. Even with one of the Legion goes in, he hits a shot.
Huge 1v2. Still got the mirror to deal with. No C4 in hand, but a couple of impacts, which could be devastating towards the last part of it. We've got a couple of smokes, so he's going to be able to potentially take some space, but he's close. They're close, and they're going to try to take that quick fire. Swings
oh, no
in,
way!
Does some damage onto DD Man, but not enough to get the down. So still taking us into a 2v1 scenario. Grismont's going to go off. 9 seconds left. He has the case in hand. Maybe a potential just get in the smoke and plant.
Yeah.
What's going down. He's just got to hold on to it. Not exactly sure where he's at. He gets off the plant, though, as he hears the footsteps coming, and CAG is going to find themselves a run there.
Man, that Daystar timeout right now is not working out the way that they wanted. They won the first round, and since then, 3 in a row for CAG. They've picked up all 3 of the major rounds. Perfect round rotation for them, picking up basement, control, and then finishing off on that second floor. So it's an adaptation. Daystar won the second floor the first time it was played,
Attackers
so
need to locate
no
and
one
defuse
site
bomb.
is going to be completely one-sided. And yeah, Daystar needs to lock in right now. I don't know whether or not that 8-7 heartbreaking loss has sort of affected the mental of this team, but man, now is the time to lock in. It's certainly a little bit more difficult on attack here on Nighthaven. CAG has got a little bit of the advantage, but Daystar, this is their map pick. I think they want to put a little bit more of a statement on attack than a couple of rounds.
Yeah, best case scenario, they tie
10
this up
seconds left.
3-3 going into their defense, and that can spell victory
5
here
seconds to insertion.
for Daystar. But I mean, like 3-1, I'm not mad at it. You find yourself one away from hitting your quota on the attacker side on your map pick. You know your defense is going to be something special, as this is what you've been prepping for. This was the practice that you put into place. This is where all the dry runs now are starting to find themselves useful and impactful. So one more win, I think Daystar feels good about it going on to their defense. 2 more, and this could see us to map 3.
All right, there it is. The win con in play. A couple of rounds to pick up at this point. So it's Joe Gore here has been sort of changing up, and look at this. Completely unaware. Shoe Reap is another lurk roll. Holy cow, they are gonna Daystar is gonna have to change the way they are playing this game to deal with Shoe Reap at this point. Perfect lurk, played upstairs on the second floor. Blitz, completely unaware, and then they lose their hard breach. And what a dire situation it is at this point. Beak is going to find him, take him off the board to even this thing back up, but that is a huge chunk of damage done. A minute burn and some very important execute operators gone from Daystar.
Yeah, they're just going to have to find the answer for Mr. Highlight Shoe Reap there, as he just continues to be an absolute menace. And still got a couple folks sitting up on the first floor, so that vertical is still going to be in play for CAG, as they're going to have to find a way on the attack side of it to deal with it. Buck's trying to make the best of it, but doesn't have a ton of intel to work off, as we just got 2 drones left alive to be utilized. So no cuts, no flanks, no nothing. Just what you see is what you got. And intel is huge in this game. We'll see if they're going to be able to work their way around it and try to equalize on the main range.
They've got tons of ability here to work the vertical, right? You have the Ram, you have the Buck. Those are the 2 best vertical operators in the game. Push this CAG defense out of position, find some shots, but man, look at this. They're just falling apart. That was a couple kills that absolutely should not have happened. It looked just completely uncoordinated. And CAG right now finding their footing, playing more aggressively, playing more confidently, and right now making a statement. That is 4 rounds in a row on defense for this team.
Yeah, it's that DD Man and Shoe Reap combo, right? They are just in the CAG duo that is devastating, the Legion of Doom, if you will. Just finding ways to get it done, hitting their shots every single time, landing in that KD advantage where they're sitting
Attackers
as the
need to
top frag
locate and
position.
defuse bombs.
They are the ones that need to be built with, and now the attack team has to find a way to deal with that roam game because you know it's there, you know it's coming, and you're still losing in the 2v1 scenario, right? You're still losing that battle. Shoe Reap allowed to get two. DD Man allowed to come on the flank and find another one. And that's where that Nomad ban really starts to come into play, is that lurk roll has worked twice in a row now.
Yeah, I feel like I want to see Daystar maybe lean into it, right? Rather than deal with the flank. I mean,
10
they're
seconds
also
remaining.
not managing the roam clear. So the Jackal, the Dokkaebi, I mean,
5
both of
seconds
them
left before
available at
insertion.
this point. They could use those ops to try and find, but also,
Attackers have
right,
located a
you're
bomb.
running past
Attackers are heading out to defuse
an
a
area
bomb.
that absolutely should be droned. They feel like they were just, I don't want to say giving up at that point, but that is certainly not the way you want to see this round played out. So Daystar's not done yet. I got confidence in this team, but it feels like they've got to change this mental a little bit from where they're at right now.
What I just want to highlight here is CAG's efficiency in taking care of Daystar's drone economy, right? If you look up in the top right corner, you see that all of those, or 5 of those drones have already been done, dusted, and dealt with, right? So taking away that intel seems to be a big part of what's leading, besides the obvious frag capabilities of Shoe Reap and Demon, seems to be part of what's seeing this team completely through. They know where you're at, they know where you're coming from, and you don't have an intel answer on the backside of it.
Yeah, it's a great point because we're clearly seeing the effects of that. In that CAG is just working around the fact that Daystar doesn't feel like they're pushing in with the right amount of information. And you know what? Continuing to play just builds your confidence, builds that to boost that a little bit. Now they managed to open up tons of this space. You're hearing the can openers go off across the board. So they have got the thermite, they've got the can openers. And they're opening these spots up, but look at this, the C4 from down below. They know the Buck is playing. Oh, I know, I thought he was going to go for it.
What's that perfect spot, right? You gotta work off that intel. Smoke, though, gonna send one through and try to put some damage onto the attackers up top. And so this is tons of vertical play. We're talking C4s. We're talking 5 different cameras with the 2 BPs and Valks cams in place. They know where these attackers are set up top. So that can be devastating, especially with the smokes and the C4 slowing them down. Well, no more smokes to be had for D-Man, though.
Yeah, but now he's going to be able to stay on the cams the entire time, call out Valk with that C4, and there's only 49 seconds left, so they do have a bit of a man advantage, but it's the first floor site, typically the more difficult one for the defense to try and manage. So it's a big boost here for this Daystar attack to clear out one of the Valk cams using the Twitch drone. They have this main breach open, but it's really not seeing which avenue right now they want to try and take for this execute. You're going to try and hop in the window. You can see the orange outlines are just spread out all over the map, not very focused.
Going to take some shots, and that's going to see another deficit for CAG as Shoe Reap gets taken off the board. Anaton, though, is going to find 2. Vector play ringing out, and it's going to be all up to him, but they've got his number. DMR is going to ring out and take one, and Daystar is going to find themselves on the positive side of the split.
Okay, apparently all I had to do is say that there's no way Daystar is winning, and then boom, they come back in a reverse caster curse. W answer back to what looked like a dire situation. CAG had gone up 5-1 versus the previous team that they played, E36. So the question was, could they pull it off again? Daystar says no. This is our map pick. You do not get to go up 5-1 here. We are going to take that final round. So they managed to find wins on 2F and on that first floor control. Now, as we see the bans come out this time, CAG says we do not want to have to deal with the Mira. Mira is very good. We know how to play around it. Want to try and make sure that we don't have to worry about it this time.
Yeah, and that's not a bad play, right? Mira on Nighthaven is absolutely devastating, right? The long distance hold, it can be utilized on any of the maps or any of the sites on the map. So yeah, makes sense. Get it off the board. But kind of sticking with tradition, they're going to take the Tubarão down as well, which kind of did. I think we've seen that one banned out, this specific combo already, because they just don't like having to slow down, right? They're getting pace setters off the board. And does leave the Azamia, does leave the castle up, still have
Defenders,
the
protect
the
your
area
bombs
denied
from
of the
being used by
Goyo and the smoke.
attackers.
So still plenty of pace setting opportunities, but two big ones, they're gonna go right early on.
And the Daystar bans, exactly the same as we saw from the previous map on Lair. They got rid of the Monty and the Grim against this CAG team again. And
Attackers have
they're
located a bomb.
expecting the Monty play, and Anakin is going to run the Blackbeard as the alternative. And that was exactly the op that they banned after that final quarter. But they need to survive that long. Need to pick up a couple of attacking or defensive wins here to solidify
10
that
seconds left
position.
before insertion.
Hope they get themselves in the fourth quarter. Now, CAG's looking to
5
shut it
seconds
down
left
before they
before
even get
insertion.
to that point. Gonna have to deal with the double up on the
Attackers'
Grecian
objective
Isles
is to
side.
defuse a
Two
bomb.
Brows banned out, but both Cade and Bandit gonna be a part of that. So force them into play some of that fundamental siege. Gonna have to deal with all of this extra Grecian Isle, and they didn't run a Thatcher, surprisingly. I don't know whether or not they locked in and understood that both the Bandit and the Cade were there. It feels like a bit of a miss.
It does feel, and not only that, we're seeing Selma charges instead of the Thermite, which of course Arculi has been so good at recently. But there is the Mav on the board. It's that Mav strat where you're just opening up everything, get a couple of quick easy peek holes, and then that opens it up. So not fully unexpected not to see the Thermite here. Just a little surprising at how well he's been doing on that op so far. Opted for the Bucks. They're going to put some of that vertical pressure on, try to make sure that Bandit can't be up close doing any of that Bandit charging or Bandit tricking, which he was set for. Now it's backed up.
Oh! Man,
Ooh.
I thought that was going to be it. Mav had just moved in that position down below. The coverage that they had from up on the roof was set to take the C4 from the upper side, not the lower side of that wall. Honestly, DD, man, dodged a freaking C4.
They're gonna open it up now that Mav's done his job, got his work done, and Shoe Reap's gonna be on to the Nomad to make sure that they're not gonna be seeing some flank options or some of that lurk roll coming into play. And they don't have anybody, well, they do. There was a quick run out. Fenrir was there. He wanted to get a little bit of the action potentially on the rappel, but nobody was there for it. So holding underneath, to put himself in a good position to try to find that pick as they get themselves inside. The big fun thing, it's going to be Anakin. He goes on to the Ying Tech, but it's only half tech, right? He's not running Reaper. He's opting for the regular pistol instead.
Yeah, he's got to be really comfortable to have to not pick into the Reaper with how good it is overall now. Man, I love that play from down below. We're thinking that, you know, from the defensive side, trying to take some shots from down below. Ultimately, though, Shoe Reap and then the Fenrir go down. So it's a trade back and forth. 40 seconds left, though. We still have got 8 left alive. The execute needs to happen now. And CAG, a couple of guys still outside the building.
Yeah, 3-3 now as they've made themselves onto the...
Dio, let's
They
go.
made their way onto the catwalk, huge play. Now they're flashing, trying to see if they can suss out the Azami. They are going to find her. So into a 1v2, DD Man, the frag leader, the hero of the last couple of rounds, is going to need to get active in
Where's
this
he going?
1v2. He's only got 17. He's going to go get he's going to go get the homie.
It's not
He says,
enough
you know
time.
what, Anakin, he's got big muscles. He can get in there and be that bronze that we need here. 7 seconds. Barbed wire, smokes, just not enough time to get this one done. He's going to run in and he's going to get dealt with.
I thought we were going to see a barbed wire kill there as the downed operator tried to make the push in through barb and smoke. I mean, honestly, I don't know that it was worth the extra 5 seconds to head upstairs, give away that position, and then just completely allow the Daystar defense to lock in. So, huge win upstairs on the second floor. Daystar on the way back, my friend. And if you're just joining us, welcome in, everyone. It's the
Attackers need to
SI
locate and
LCQ
defuse
for
bombs.
the Asia Pacific League. There is one SI spot left available, one team that can make it to the 6th Invitational. from this last chance qualifier, and we're in the playoffs. 8 teams are left, double elimination bracket. We're in the upper bracket semifinal, and CAG, they have already picked up map 1, the winning Lair. Man, in a heartbreaking loss for the Daystar team. 8-7 CAG
Attackers have
victory.
discovered the
Is
location
it
of
going
the
to come
bomb.
down to overtime here on Nighthaven, my friend? Daystar's got anything to say about it? They don't even want to get to overtime. They want to clean it up now.
Well, if map number 1 had the potential for overtime, I think map number 2 is almost all but guaranteed, right? It's back and forth. We saw CAG do great on their defense, but the thing is they've got a very well-coordinated attack team, right? The comms are on fire, on point. They're isolating members that are holding up top and then claiming space, and they're doing it in a relatively good amount of time. So pressure definitely going to be on Daystar to perform here, and if anybody could against this CAG team, Daystar might be the one to be able to do it.
First 30 seconds done, and yeah, you can hear the buck continuing to work. This time, Shoe Reap 7-6-1 again. Once again, not the top frag, but the impactful plays that have turned the tide a little bit at this point. So we're gonna see the Shield try and make the push in, but no way! Jogor, what a shot!
Control all deleted. He pushed in, pushed past the smoke, and then just gets ripped apart. Smoked even. Huge play as they claim that man advantage.
Yo, thank you for the raid, the OMGs. Welcome in, my friends. Man, late in the evening here in the NA. We're getting to watch the 6 invitational last chance qualifiers, though, in Asia. CAG, the T1 team, looking to shut down Daystar. There's only 1 spot in Paris left available for this region. Who's it going to be? Plenty of games left all throughout this weekend, but we appreciate you guys joining us for the end of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. WOMGs, and go check them out, right? A great group of guys that with a very active community. They stream all kinds of Siege play and some fun collaborations as well. So give them some love and tell them that the Whiskey Boys sent you. Thanks for the raid, OMGs.
Ooh, man, last minute of gameplay ticks down. 5v3 scenario. I mean, they're still going to work the vertical piece of this, but man, I feel like it's almost a little bit of a too little, too late kind of a scenario. The defense locked in, and they're just now starting to open up some space, giving out some cameras, gaining a little bit of intel. Man, look at this. Holding on to the stairs. CAG just feels like they're moving too slow. It's a role reversal.
Beautiful little vector shot. Waited for some pixel, saw some peak perfection, and took it. Almost gets rewarded with another one, as it now puts us into a 5v2. Tons of intel on the board. The Solus, the Pulse. They're going to find one. Reaper's going to take Arcally off the board as they get themselves into a trade, which means it's all going to be up to the frag leader, DD Man, to bring this one in. He's going to find the kill on Goyo. 2 down. This could be body throwing potential.
No way.
Here, and you don't want to be in that position, especially with only 10 seconds left. Is going to look towards the shot, and a P90 is going to take DD Man down, and that's going to find themselves a Daystar win.
All right, felt like that first half of this map was all CAG, right? They go 4 rounds in a row. Felt like Daystar was on the back foot most of those rounds. If you just look at the round count, didn't really tell that full story. It was a significantly better CAG half. Again, on defense, though, like you said it. So now as we get onto the Daystar defense, man, they've been activated. This is their 3rd round in a row. Tied this thing back up. And we have got ourselves a game, my friend. Big question is, on this Burst Floor control storage, who's going to pick it up? Historically, the attacker's stronghold, a little bit more difficult site to defend. Can Daystar pull this one off?
I think so. I think that they can bring this back. I think the Siege gods are looking down on us and wanting to give us a map number 3. There is specifically locking down, right? They're doubling up on the architects, redirecting how the site's going to flow. Castle is on me on board, but here's the fun part. Here's the highlight for me on this defense. We're running double on the intel. It's something that they tried to focus on the attack side of it, but just were losing drones all over the place. This is a good adaptation for the defense, and a couple of C4s to boot. This could be a potential for Daystar to go up in the scoreline.
Man, it feels like they are locked in on defense right now. CAG is struggling to get anything going, and I know you talked about it. This is Daystar's map pick. We expected them to be very strong on the defense, and it feels like they've sort of entered their element at this point, locked in. So we know for sure that this team, they have to win. It's a must-win scenario for Daystar here on Nighthaven if they want to see that map 3 Clubhouse. This is good news, though. Neither one of these teams is going home since it's a double elimination bracket. We're still in the upper. So if you got a favorite and they don't win here, don't worry. All hope is not lost.
Now we're going to start to make the rotate as the Roteros go out. And look at that. Air jabs are going to ring out and potentially do some damage. But no, they're able to escape unscathed as they ring out. So still, with the first minute done and dusted, we're going to find ourselves 5 apiece. And Azami still locked in tight on this catwalk.
Wow.
Able to find one. And Anderton goes down as the Roteros are taken off the board. Man advantage now into the hands of into Daystar as, man, they found themselves in a good position to hold on to this vertical.
And Seal is absolutely on fire. He is moving, shoot, pivot, shoot, and using all the util, using his gadgets to block everything off. And perfectly played, well, just well executed upstairs, and forcing this attack to have to redirect. That upstairs is locked down. It is not worth the time and the effort at this point.
Well, find yourself down in the man advantage if you're a CAG fan, but only by 1. Still enough time to get active and around. And the problem here, if you're a CAG fan, is that you still got Jogors up top playing onto that vertical. Grismot's in hand, almost gets away with one, throws another Grismot out as they're trying to make the rotate off of the catwalk, and yeah, find themselves in a pretty good position with 47 seconds left.
DD Man is still left alive, 11-4-3. He's been the top frag round after round. Whether or not it's flashy or not, he's still picking up those kills, and he gets another one. Now puts in a 1v2. Can he clutch this thing up?
Has the diffuser in hand. Gonna try to make the rotate over towards that breach. They've got the intel that he's gonna be coming that way.
No way!
He
No
the
way!
kill. DD Man just better in that situation, and now he's got to take on 3-5 Mozzie. He's got a P10, so it is a P shooter, but you only need a P to shoot him in the dome piece. I don't know if he knows that they're still up top on the vertical. 10 seconds now as it starts to
the
count
castle.
Down. Castle might solidify a potential hold here.
Yes, it's
right
gonna make it.
Oh my gosh, he's going to be able to stick this plant now into a 1v1 scenario post-plant, and he's looking to try to figure out where in the world he's coming from. Is there any drones left on 3, potentially? And he's the shadow come up. He knows where the location's coming from, but absolutely fried!
Pikachu!
That's what we were saying. It's a pea shooter, but absolutely devastating in the quickness as it takes a headshot. Daystar going to find themselves up in the scoreline advantage.
Oh my god. DD Man was absolutely on fire. He goes for a 2v1 clutch up. He hits it, gets the plant down. The castle barricade helps lock him in. And honestly, I thought there is no way that the P10 wins that battle. And you know what? Daystar freaking proves me wrong. They go up in the round count. That's 4 rounds in a row for this team. 1 on attack, 3 on defense. Man, they are locked in right now. And we get to see all the way into that 4th quarter where the band's going to go. And yeah, get rid of the Azami, says CAG. It was just too well played on the Daystar side. They need the option to move around.
Absolutely. Get that off the board. That'll make the Roteros and pushing into those critical push point positions just a little bit easier. But when you take one off the board, there's a couple of other operators that are still going to be devastating and still have that same effect. And to that vein, we're going to see that the Fenrir has been brought out here for this 2F site next, and it doesn't have the same ability of like giving you some safety to hide behind. You can't hit what you can't see. Fenrir does a great job of that.
Stacking the deck.
Oh man, edge of my seat at the end of that round. Man, tie game. Daystar comes up with a huge victory. CAG, they've been struggling. They haven't won a round since round 5. 4 in a row for Daystar. I mean, that has got to be the mental chalk that we were talking about going into round 6, where CAG had just pulled off 4 in a row, and it looked like Daystar had fallen apart. It was a temporary pause, in what was going to be the Nighthaven onslaught that Daystar was bringing. What a way to take this map, take this round, and right now just put up a hell of a good match.
Okay, we do see the thermite being brought back out, but it's not going to be in the hands of Arkley. Right, it's going into the hands of DD, man, putting himself onto a bit of that support position role, even though he sits at that 13 and 5. Could be a bit of a comfort pick here, potentially. Saying, man, I might just be hitting with that gun just a little bit better. Either way, he's going to start opening up here on the backside of the site for sure.
Yep, they've got the connector side open, so we're playing on this second floor, and I mean, Jokor is playing a little bit of an aggressive position. He's got the smokes to sort of deny some of this space, and for sure, CAG is going to need to bait out those smokes before they're really able to gain a ton of map control at this point. And I am shocked that we didn't see Arkley run the thermite, and DD Man made that switch. And okay, he's gonna find one. Maybe he's just a little bit better at playing the buck, playing the vertical here on this game. You know, the Denari's just going off like crazy right now, and the drones have made their presence known. I was wondering whether or not we're gonna see the drones try and go for clearing out some of these Denari tripped connectors.
Man advantage into the hands of CAG. Air jabs start to go out. Trying to make sure that they're not going to get snuck up on. They're still trying to put some pressure onto this top floor where we've got, I mean, well, everybody's up here, right? No vertical down below to try and suss anybody out, specifically talking about this buck. Glow canisters are going to go off, make the push in through to rotate a little bit tougher, but look at this. He's just going to sneak right on in there. He's going to be rewarded with one as well. Shoe Reap's able to take Seal off the board, and that's going to put us into a 5v3. Still got the smoke canisters, and they're going to start going out, start delaying some of that time, at least towards the catwalk area. So it was still 44 seconds left. This is still winnable for the defense, specifically with those smoke canisters still in hand and stopping that play. Buck, though, going to be one of those big factors at pushing this defense out of those comfort positions and into a position where you're going to get potentially cut off. Sussed out on prone position. Denari's there in hand. It's going to be some fire towards that backside, but it's going to be a miss. He's going to be allowed to stay in the prone position, holding on to the angle towards those can openers. Flashes go in. They're going to find a kill as Souffles takes DD Man off the board. Chibisu onto Souffle in the return. Now into a 4-2 as Smoke is there, but it gets answered back. A double that brings out Arkley. Going to take Jogors off the board. And now
Are you kidding me?
It's going to be up to the 2, and that's going to do it. Sheesh, no way does he pull that off.
Man's an absolute legend behind the desk and shuts down a surging CAG team, including the Shield, and just annihilates them all with the SMG. That is absolutely wild. And Daystar, man, just a little bit bullet blessed right now as they pick up their 5th in a row. They won round 1. Play. And then to go 5 in a row, 6 through 10, in honestly dramatic fashion there at the end. It looked unkillable. Map 3 now, my friend, 1 round away for Daystar. They were on a must-win scenario on Nighthaven after losing in a heartbreaking fashion on Lair. Clubhouse, 1 round away, unless CAG can be perfect for 2 to send us to overtime.
Man, it's not even that maybe Daystar won that round. It's that CAG definitely lost it, right? They had the man advantage. You know, time absolutely starting to tick away, but you find yourself in a 1vx scenario and then just holy throwback. He's going to see Daystar onto a match point scenario. This might be one that looked back in the VODs run going, what exactly happened? How did we get to this position where we're going to have to be in a map number 3 when we thought we were walking away with this?
By Nighthaven attack, which is actually kind of wild. I mean, this is one of the it feels like the most popular competitive maps. The attacking strat's very well defined, and it just feels like CAG is sort of fallen apart, right? Playing lots of different operators. They've struggled on making that switch from a dominant thermite performance from Arkley into a slow and cumbersome Mav across the board that just really doesn't feel like it's working. They don't have the hard breaches banned. This Daystar team hasn't really been using a ton of the breach now, although they brought along both the Cade and the Bandit this time, but easily countered with the Thermite. It just feels like we're in a very weird position right now with the way that this one has played.
Looking to get some of those grenades and force some movement onto the stairs. Clash going to push up instead, unafraid of the engagement. So a little shield on shield action potentially. But look at this. They've taken, or they still have some defenders up on the second floor. Now first one's going to go down as Arculi takes Joe Gores off the board. Does put that man advantage into the hands of the attacking team. But look at that. Just like, oh, what? Hello? Is that an air jab that sent him into the corner, potentially saving his life? They claim a man advantage, and they're looking to put this map 2 away and head to map number 3 run. Equalized. Shoe Reap's able to take Souffle off the board. Does put us into a 3-3, but the big thing going is you still have a Clash on the board. You still have a smoke with 2 canisters in hand that you can deal with as long as Clash is slowing them down.
Yeah, with a minute left, tied up 3-3. No way. This is coming down to the wire one more time. CAG has got to be perfect again. They're up 1 map to 0 in this best of 3. Daystar must win scenario on Nighthaven if they want to see this best of 3 go to the 3rd map. Otherwise, sent down to the lower bracket. CAG moving on. To get in that 45 seconds, I mean, they're opening up the util, holding on to this first floor, but they got to make the transition down to the basement past the Clash.
And there it is. Pincher move starting to come on. Clash is going to be locked in the corner. Shot's going to go out towards the toes, and they're going to be able to claim that kill. L85 reaches out and claims one. Now down into a 2-2. Still have a smoke canister on board with 24 seconds, enough to be able to potentially stop the plant, but the diffuser is cold. It's all going to be up to Mav now to try to bring this one back. Still a smoke canister, and still 2 players that you got to deal with. 14 seconds has to push through the smoke, so it's going to be a low health scenario and a shotgun to finish it off. Daystar, they're going to find it, and we're going to get to map number 3.
7-4 victory for Daystar. Man, they locked in and what looked like a map that they were going to lose, right? They really were struggling at the start of this thing after we got to see this CAG team crush it at the beginning. What a turnaround this team had. I was questioning whether or not their mentals were in this after the heartbreaking loss and then a very difficult first half of Nighthaven. They answered back in a big way. 7-4, stopping this CAG team in their tracks and sending it to map 3. Clubhouse, my friend.
Okay, so a default textbook to end it out. It's all going to be about fundamentals here when we get to map number 3. Deserved, the Siege Gods answered. We get 1 more map. Sit back, relax. We're going to get that lobby set up and another map when we come back. Ayo.
Let's go.
It's just me. Hearts going to map 3 to decide.
What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We're here, we're locking in. It's map number 3. There's no need to talk about it. You know the teams, you know what's on the line, and you know where we're going. It's textbook map for this final game. It's all about fundamentals here as we get into it. CAG versus Daystar, who's staying in the upper.
Oh man, good question, and it is honestly too freaking close to call. CAG pulls off a heartbreaking upset, 8-7 victory on Lair on honestly a back and forth battle that came down to a 1v1. Man, but then Daystar answers back on Nighthaven on their map pick dramatically. 7-4 victory. In what was a pendulum swinging back and forth with all CAG in the first half, all Daystar in the second, leading and giving us map 3, my friend. We're in the upper bracket semifinal. Who gets to go to grands and upper grands? The winner of this match, my friend. It's come down to it. The bans are in. Ying and Thermite go down on the CAG side. And then Cade and Clash. Interesting strat here from this team, but, you know, CAG sort of taking the shotgun approach, the Ying and the Thermite, a little bit of both.
I love that we live in a world where Thermite has to get banned. that just feels like all is right with the world. His 3 charges have just made him an absolute dominant force, not just in getting everything opened up, not just in establishing cuts and secondary options for entry, but also gun skill. Both thermites on both sides have just been very dominant today. So we get to Clubhouse, we get to the part where you want to run your ace thermite special, getting into it, this 2-pronged approach, and they're going to shut that down. Could be a thorn in the side for Daystar, as they're going to be leaning on the Hibana.
I was going to say, look at this, go for it, taking some shots outside. And even though we're seeing the basement play, this is a very spread out CAG defense. It felt like one of the hallmarks for Lair. They played a little bit more spread out for the most part, very successfully. So can they pull this off again versus the Daystar defense? And you said it, we are on Clubhouse, the standard map where great teams go to die. Which team is that one going to be here? Who is going to die? Who is moving on to that upper bracket final? Sort of felt like Nighthaven slowed the pace a little bit versus what we saw on Lair until it didn't. Crazy plays on some of these rounds were just map-defining plays. And, you know what? A little bit of DD Man, a little bit of Shoe Reap, hitting all of his shots on fire. And big extension from this CAG defense.
Huge extension. I mean, we're talking 4 players initially up on the 2nd floor, almost like we're faking sight, you know, as they got a full extension, a full lockdown of that top floor. And now DD Man going to claim that advantage as well and run. That's getting the hard breach off the board. Now we've got to rely on can openers to do the rest of the job, and there's only 1 left. It starts to fall apart immediately. DD Man finds another. Joe Gores answers back. Arculi able to find one. Shoe Reap able to find one. And a dominant performance coming out by CAG on map number 1, as it's all going to be left up to Blackbeard now as the defense starts to collapse onto site.
Wow. This Daystar team just sort of gave away the plays here. It looked like they sort of tried to collapse a little bit too quickly, and CAG was ready for it, responded dramatically, shutting it down, the basement attack. And you know what? A great way to start this thing off. Man, I can't believe it. We were talking about it during the break. Just a few followers away from 8,000. We appreciate you all being here, supporting the channel, everything we're trying to do to bring you all global siege here across the board. Appreciate you being here. CAG fans out there looking to see this team shut it down. Daystar, man, everybody is here tonight and too close to call, you know? The good news is, neither team eliminated. This is a double elimination bracket. Loser goes to the lower. Winner goes on to the upper final, taking place tomorrow on the mainstream.
Can't wait to watch that one, but we got to get through this final map to get started on that. CAG's going to go up by 1, and that first round run looked very dramatic, right? It was completely spread out. There was just a bunch of misinformation in play, and they were able to just get away with absolute murder. Head up to Jim Bedroom here for map number 2, or for Matt, or... okay, for site, it's 4 o'clock, or 3 o'clock. They go up for the second site of this match, and they didn't bring along Casper, but since Mira was left on the board, she's going to be utilized here. The big play, the big highlight, is going to be Stolitz on the board. Still down in that first floor, really going to lean into making sure that they get as much information as they can, where the
perfectly
coming from, and then a potential alert for that.
Played. What a tragic turn of events here for this Daystar attack. Start off with hiding the bandit. Aniton was hiding the bandit in the bathroom, and it appears that Daystar did not find him. Waited until the last moment to bandit trick the wall as Ace is going for it, and then the TK rings out that takes the Ace off permanently. Jacuzzi wall, my friend, is locked freaking down. No way to get that thing open. And Daystar now has a very difficult hill to climb, especially now that Joe Gore loses the Deimos, so they're not going to be able to play the vertical. And it's Shoe Reap downstairs, ready to play the vertical on his terms. CAG is in a very good position here on round 2.
Well, we get tied up here on the man advantage. Looking to find some for the vertical. So Shoe Reap almost pays the price, almost sees the caster curse. Now they start sending out the bees, a little bit of intel as they're trying to push in towards construction. Still got 1:29, so plenty of time left.
Oh, look at
but
this.
But here's the big one. Yes, tucked
No
away
way.
in the Logi. Not going to be sussed out by the bees, so potential that he might find one or two of them off the board right now as they're pushing in. It's patience and presence of mind that will see this one through. He's going to get up early. He is going to find
Oh, they
it.
traded!
It's going to be the trade goes through as the double headshot finds it. Now into a 2v2. Just over 60 seconds left. The bees are there, solidifying that they can push up. Takes a couple of shots and huge play. Arkley gets taken off the board. It's all going to be up to the aforementioned hero, Shoe Reap, but he gets devastated and taken off the board, and that's going to see us equalize.
Wow, what a turn of events there to pick up the trade. That in the Logi trade was the difference maker there for Daystar. It took that the extra man off the board, and then a fantastic shot from Pekin. The shot into the hallway at the top of the central stairs, perfectly played, and gives Daystar that victory in what looked like a very desperate round. I absolutely was calling their demise not 1 minute ago. They showed me up, pulled it off, showed why they belong to be here, why they deserved their spot at the 6th Invitational in Paris in just 18 days.
Oh, man. Yeah, now that you talk about it, it is getting right up on us. So we're solidifying our finals to get in there, and I can't wait for it. You see the Tachanka, the Lord himself, being brought out here for this cash CCTV hold. And we've seen this a couple of times before where you just sit back and cash and rain fire. See if he's going to be able to get those... the Shemika launcher in the right place. That's going to be one of the big things. And if he can shoot the gun fast enough to be a force, right? They're going to put split pressure on for this one, almost guaranteed. But look at this run. It's going to be the Callie Thatcher combo here.
Yeah, I think that the bandit trick there on that previous round has sort of scared them into altering the strategy. They need to make sure that they absolutely get these walls opened up top, and Shoe Reap has just been on fire right now. They lose the Callie in an unbelievable play. I don't know where exactly she was, but there is no way that Shoe Reap should have been able to take that shot. Hey, I thought Callie was up on rappel. It is absolutely wild. Pekin loses, so the hero from that previous round gone, and what is another big mental blow for this team. CAG is, you know what, they're just hitting some of these perfect shots.
Man, yeah, what a first kill. Shoe Reap, Life Stealer, gets away with a Scopos on Callie kill and claims that man advantage. And now Scopos going to put themselves in another position down in the basement to be a factor for whoever's trying to play on this first floor. Whoever's going to start making that push in towards Secret and towards the bottom of Red, where currently Tachanka sits.
Holy hell, you called it and he gets it. Souffle down as Shoe Reap picks up another. Man, it was DD Man who was playing the Tachanka on Lair, who was devastating and really put up some huge numbers. He is going to be the MVP, it feels like, of this series if CAG can find a win, but backed up by Shoe Reap, who now picks up a triple kill from him. The Scopos was absolutely the right play, and that is Diffuser down. Daystar just getting caught off guard a little bit by a overly aggressive Shoe Reap who's just moving around this map with impunity.
Yeah, unafraid to take any sort of battles, and now puts himself on pace for the ace. They've got a pinch move on him here, right? One on the window, one towards that main lobby area, but unfortunately just don't have the intel on where he's at, and he can still get out of there. Okay, finally, they do it. It's a 3-piece peak, and they're going to take off the board. And a triple no longer, or ace potential no longer in play, and that's going to be the smokes coming out. Can't quite get into the door. Unfortunate. Tachanka's able to find one. Now puts us into a none. I was going to say puts us into a 1v, but I couldn't even get it out before it was over. He's able to just hold on, and they claim it.
W play there from the CAG Osaka team, especially led by obviously a triple kill there from Shoe Reap coming out. Right place, right time, utilizing the op. And you know what? There was a couple pieces of bad luck there from Daystar. I'm still not sure exactly how the Callie goes down. Thought she was in a safe position, but just bad placement if Shoe Reap's able to take that kill from the rafters. So right place, right time. And it feels like, you know, just taking some extra chances, just going to chow everything right now because they've got that confidence going into this. And Daystar felt like they lost it on attack on Nighthaven, but absolutely gained it back on the second half, came back to just crush that map. So if they can pick up some of that same confidence here on Clubhouse, which has got a lot of similarities to Nighthaven.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
Feels like this
bombs.
could be Daystar's map to win. CAG wants to build up a huge defensive lead as much as they can right now.
Yep, and that's going to start here for sure. They take it down to the basement for this next set. And they're bringing along some fun operators to do it. It is Stall City. Now we've seen the Maestro played out a couple of different ways here, and looks like they're going to be a little bit more traditional. Oh no, they're hiding him. They're hiding the Maestro. This has been such a fun strat out of CAG to make sure that you're not bringing the right operators. They're making sure that Clutch is not going to be something that you can bring along. They make a couple of 6 picks, but not in the right direction. Huge play. Mute all the way up on the second floor in those jammers and being barricaded off means that you're not going to just be able to get a drone up there and make sure that you're clear. You're going to have to put bodies up there. And with the castle, the Azami, the smoke, and the Maestro in play once you actually realize nobody's up there, oh man, this is Stall City, a time torch, well-deserved.
Yeah, it feels like CAG is playing significantly more confident than they did on the back half of Nighthaven, right? They reset the mental, have absolutely locked in. Daystar can and does do the same thing. The question is, can they do it quickly enough here on Clubhouse before they get too far behind? You said it. I really like this defensive setup that they've got, and you said it. The fact that they're changing up the strategy, playing a couple different... no way. Are you kidding me?
You're just insane right now. Beautiful play. Siege timing is going to see the Blackbeard's life forfeit as he gets knifed into oblivion. Down the hatch, down the drain, and now Strat in the bin. What a huge play.
While he's concussed?
Just going to keep going, bro.
While he's concussed, he drops the hatch, gets the kill, and then knifes to finish it. The man is absolutely on fire, playing on a little bit of a different level right now, and it's not usual that you can carry that kind of momentum forward between maps, but Shoe Reap is that guy. 5-2-1. You know, he doesn't have his C4 anymore. They just walk right into the open barrel of his gun.
No.
He didn't pay off Daystar, did he?
No, I don't know. Not in this way. Shoe Reap, we're going to call him Mr. Highlight. As 2 rounds in a row, he finds himself on the triple kill. On free pace.
No way!
Another. Breaking out the barbecue sauce for this 4-piece. He is not going to be denied. And now is in a 5v1 scenario. Shoe Reap is just an unstoppable force. They're finally going to stop the bleeding. Finally going to find the headshot. But damage done. 4-piece had 7 kills in as many seconds, it felt like.
Souffle is that guy finally to shut down the reign of terror that Shoe Reap had brought down upon Daystar. But man, what an unbelievable shot. I mean, he was getting it done everywhere. It looked like he just had the info on where Daystar was going to be pushing from across the map. It didn't matter where it was, and yeah, he's going to continue to take those chances right now. So Daystar, all they got to do is catch him off guard once. They got to reverse this scoreline one time early, and that is going to be the momentum shift that they need. But they cannot wait too long. CAG goes up.
Attackers need to locate
Heading to
and
round
defuse as
5,
many bombs as they can.
3-1, but off the back of Shuri picking up 8-3-1. Man, what a crazy play.
Right. He's just him. He's Mr. Highlight. He has just been a walking highlight reel for the last couple of maps. Now he puts himself onto Solus with a shotgun in hand. Still going to be that devastation. Still going to be that lurk factor. Still going to be just across the map. So the win con for Daystar definitely starts with getting Shoe Reap off the board.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's not typical we're saying that that becomes the absolute
5
win
seconds
con
remaining.
here, but you know what, carrying momentum, the mental game that
Attackers are
that
moving to defuse a
him
bomb.
alone is going to be bringing to this. You know what? These are seasoned competitive players. It is not the end of the world certainly to be taken advantage of like that, but that's 3 rounds in a row that he has had an unbelievable round. And you talk about you know, sitting at almost a 4 KD at this point. So, okay,
Maybe
what
not
are
the
they?
win. Oh, I was gonna say maybe not the win con, but definitely the lose con if he's still alive, I guess.
Yeah. So, like, let's focus on what do they need to do here. We're talking about a gym bedroom attack. They need to lock in and get these sight lines open. They've really struggled to get the hard breach in play, right? Just not opening up the sight lines. It's just struggling at this point. And you know what? I mean, for sure, taking Shureep down is going to be an important one. But look, he's looking the wrong way. Siege timing on this is unbelievable. They're literally staring at each other.
He can't see the outlines. He's just waiting for a little bit. Whoa! Jesus almost gets away with one. Still stays down into the kitchen. A shotgun as he gets down to the basement. And they're going to find that man advantage. They're going to get Chibisu off the board. And that's the Azami. And that's going to be a huge first pick. Striker waiting patiently, waiting for some sound cues. Might not know that Solus has rotated out and around, took the scenic route and finding their way back up onto the first, or going to potentially make their way back up to that second floor.
That was a crazy play there, just sitting, waiting, watching. They're hoping to catch Shureep off guard here one more time, but man, where's the drones? Where's the intel? Search for this guy. What is going on right now?
Well, looks like there's only 2 drones left. And look, here it is. He's got some intel, and it's a good night. Shureep strikes again as he goes for the run out. It was casual violence being brought about by the Solus right now. No running, just a quick walk, a quick peek, and a good night. They claim themselves the equalizer on the man advantage now.
52 seconds left, just under a minute at this point. You're talking about a 4v4. Shureep still left alive, whether or not he's
That is
the win
the
con.
greatest
He is absolutely
moment in
going
my
to
life,
make
bro.
this difficult here for this Daystar attack team. They need to clear him out. And it feels like, again, moving a little bit too slow. Don't have the power positions in play. A little bit too spread out. 2 out on the highway, 1 on the jacuzzi, 1 pushing in construction. Collapse on this team.
Shureep yet again finds a double, but it's answered back. Souffle and Seal both able to claim one, and that's going to be the plant starting to go down. Daystar completely pulls this around as they're just going to go for kills. Jogors is able to take 2 in the very end of it, and honestly, even though Shureep was still having such a massive presence, they were able to find one, and they take their second on attack. A quota now hit if you're on the attack side for Daystar. Right now, you get yourself another one tied up, you're going to feel some big advantage going into that back half of it. And even if you don't, even it ends 4-2, you can feel solid in the performance you just put together, even against an almost unstoppable Shureep. Thank you for the tier or the prime there, ATX Fireball. We sure appreciate you using that on this channel. Enjoy those custom emotes, and welcome to the fam.
That's right, my friend. Appreciate everybody joining us here for this one. And man, we went back and take a look at that Shureep's history. Right, he's been on this CAG team since they were Cyclops, like more than 2 years at this point. It's got to go all the way back to 2023 before he was on a different team. So he's been locked in, an integral part of the CAG Osaka team.
10 seconds remaining.
Right now, just feeling himself. Having an incredible game. Daystar, though, was able to answer back. Okay, so they picked up their second. It is absolutely not a done deal here. It has felt very one-sided. The scoreline does not tell the story of how one-sided this match has felt overall, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Scoreboard, my friends. Daystar has picked up 2 attacking wins. They've done their job on attack on Clubhouse.
Get ready for the breach.
Doubled up on the hard breach here. Bana and Ace being utilized. Again, we're going to see Shureep back onto that Scopos, Jesus. He's just kind of was that factor as they were trying to push on. And they're a little bit more attention to detail here out of Daystar, right? Doing a little bit better job of making sure that they're opening everything up. They're getting some drones in. They're trying to find exactly, there's no blind pushes, which of course has led to some of those early kills by Shuri. So with the first minute done and dusted, we're finding all 5 still alive.
Interesting that every single map we've had so far has just followed the standard site rotation. They do not want to go back. They don't want to replay anything. They are sticking to the strategic version of Siege. This is a huge one. Shuri finally goes down. The opening death, the answer back from Daystar. They managed to find a win on round 5 now. They take down the top frag, the man who has just been devastating this team as they move into round 6. We could be looking at a 3-3 split, my friend, as a minute 30 goes down, half the round over.
They did take the win coming off the board. A big first step for Daystar into trying to get this to a 3-3 set. Saying it's an advantage or disadvantage for anybody to find it on a 3-3, but a 4-2 definitely feels more along the lines if you're a CAG fan. 3-3 on the Daystar side of it. Start to see some of the, oh man, huge play. L85 is going to take out Cooley off the board, and that's going to be the plant going down. A smoke goes out, but I don't know if it's going to be in enough position to stop it. It's not. It's a post-plant scenario in a 5v3. Now, we do have one creeping up from the basement, but he's easily dealt with. Anatum is done and dusted now into a 5v2, and this is a good position to find yourself tied up 3-3 going into the back end of the half, and you're going to do this flawlessly.
What a turnaround. If you had joined us just for the last 2 rounds, you would have said this is all Daystar. They have absolutely unlocked the key at this point, but it took them 4 rounds to figure out the formula. Get rid of Shuri, right? He carried this team in an unbelievable way through the first 4 rounds. Unstoppable, almost a 4 KD, and then finally starting to get shut down just a little bit by this Daystar team. They managed to pull off 2 rounds at the end to send us to a 3-3 split, evenly matched on one of the fundamentals here in competitive Siege Clubhouse. It's a little bit on the defender's side, so it feels like Daystar pulled off a bit of a miracle, especially with the way that Shuri had been playing.
3-3. Honestly, since this is such a 50-50 map, it's so textbook. I'm honestly not surprised the way that this has turned out. And to say that we might see overtime from this feels almost like an understatement, right? Now we're back onto CAG's attack side, which they have been incredibly dominant on, taking on an incredibly aggressive Daystar. So who's left on the board when the bans go through? Mira, Azami, Goyo, all operators that are going to be time torching the hell out of you. So we'll see what CAG's bringing to the table here for this basement defense, but this one's going to get interesting.
I mean, you start off in the basement. It's the right place to get it done. Now Hatch is locked in.
10 seconds
Looking
left
good
before insertion.
overall. A lot of vertical setup here from the CAG
5
Osaka
seconds
team. That's
insertion.
what they want to look like now. The bands, Daystar, they take down the Monty and the Grim again. They've been very consistent at what they want to take away from CAG Osaka. Force this team onto the Blackbeard, which honestly it feels like Anaton is very comfortable on the Blackbeard. So the question is he even better on the Monty? I think it's likely.
Starting to make their way over towards this aggression. There's the Ram going to start opening up that first floor and quickly getting hatches open as well. So a little bit quicker action here out of CAG than what we were seeing on a previous map. But really trying to get in and find some of those early picks, find some of that early advantage from that top-down play. Blackbeard's up there. Nobody on the second floor really to put any pressure on it, but it is very full on the first. And look at that. It's a retake. Joe Gores is going back up to the second floor to make sure that they can put some pressure onto this Blackbeard, who, well, I guess is not alone, right? You got Chibisu up there with him. So potential for a 2v1. They might find an isolation on Goyo here.
Miss the right strategy. Isolate, decimate. I get to hear you say it all the time. So Joe Gore, I mean, he's ready, waiting, backing off the engagement, though. Perfectly playing this, just wasting time across the board. Upstairs on the 2F, down onto the stairs. Going to be able to make the rotate back. And look at this, burning a little bit of intel as the Ying Candelas go out and unaffected downstairs, perfectly placed. Chibisu honestly survives. Some luck on his side tonight.
No kidding. Didn't know he was going to have to dodge the teammates' bullets as well. So a couple of low healths, and look at that. Just caught. It's a rat move. Souffle's going to get double as Anatum takes Souffle off the board, but damage done. Now into a 4-2. There's a minute left. You've got a Ying that's on tech with the shotgun in hand. Still got some utility you can drop with the Capitao as well, but I mean, this is going to be a tough one, specifically with those two smoke canisters still in hand.
45 seconds left. It's enough time to try and pull off this execute, though, but you said it, they need to be spot on.
Candela is going to be sent through the head holes now as the pressure onto the bar starts to be felt. A little bit of safety. Smokes is the main staircase and starting to come under fire. Takes a couple of shots, but not going to be rewarded for it. So now they've made their way into a good position to potentially start to get a plant, but Ying's going to go down. Now it's all going to be up to Chibisu as he's got to be perfect for a 1v4, and it's not going to happen. A Vector is going to claim a couple of body shots, and it's a good night. Sleep tight. Daystar is going to find a win.
All right, well, what was a CAG start to this map in felt very dominant, has completely shifted. We talked about this pendulum that has been swinging back and forth between these teams. Don't let your opponent get hot, because they will carry that momentum forward into round win after win after win, and that's the case here. Daystar has picked up 3 in
Attackers
a row,
need to locate
and they have
and
looked
bomb.
better each round pulling it off. CAG is, they're on attack and really seem like they're struggling at this point. They unfortunately were not able to pull off the 4-2 half. The best they could muster was a 3-3 split. And you know what? Shuripa's back has got to be hurting from carrying this team. The rest of these guys need to step up at this point, and they can. We've seen it happen. DD Man's 4-5-1 is honestly surprising after the incredible game he had on Nighthaven.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Yeah, Daystar, they're really coming alive. Maybe not such
5
a bad
seconds to insertion.
idea to see a timeout coming and play. And not necessarily that, sitting to talk about the mistakes or what the other team's doing. Honestly, just to put a little ice the kicker vibe to it and try to slow down some of this momentum of Daystar. So either way, they've built it up. They're going to take a couple of quick looks. Look as he's sitting here. They knew exactly where he was at. Shuripa and a shotgun is going to take Joe Gore's off the board, and that's going to give a man advantage early on here to CAG.
Huge play, taking down the 2-brow. That's a big piece of the slowdown that is not going to be available here for this team. So, need to work on opening up these. There it is. I was going to say, need to work on opening these sight lines up, clear out some of the hard breaches, and put some pressure on this team. Zuki there playing the warden is ready, and there it is. Everything is now opening up. That's the play that they needed to. And the fact that they brought along both the Thermite and the Ace, it shows the level of commitment they were trying to make sure that was going to happen. We talked about the Ying Tech. Yeah, Reap's running it. 11, 6, and 1. Still the clear frag leader on either side, but has not had the level of success he's had in the last 2 rounds as he did in the first 4. Time to lock in.
I'm starting to tick down. Getting closer to that halfway point. Still 4 Candelas in hand. Air jabs, lots of util for this attack team. Still in hand to be able to put this pressure onto it. Sent out a couple of Candelas, a little bit of chaos inside of sight, but the defense is not perturbed. They'll find themselves trying to, honestly, just hold on. No real engagement has seen 4 and 5 still alive. So the kill feed on this one run, towards the end of it, is going to get absolutely insane.
Yeah, the fact that we've come down to this final minute of gameplay, Daystar is up. Are they going to be able to lock this thing down? CAG now opening up all the sightlines. What a shot. We said DD's name early on that he needed to be the guy to step up, but what a kill feed, my friend. And at the end of the day, after a back and forth, it's CAG on top.
Beautiful double towards the end. They put the pinch on Logi. They're able to take him off the board, even though it costs a life, and then a quick swing. That's just game sense, alive and present. And because of that, CAG's gonna tie us up. We're gonna see 4-4, and we're just a couple rounds away from either sending one on to the finals or getting some OT.
You said it. The way that this thing is playing out, right now it feels like there is no way we don't see overtime. That was Daystar being dominant 3 rounds in a row, looked very good, and what happens? CAG answers back in the way that a T1 team should, finds a huge win, and in dramatic fashion, right? It came down to those final couple seconds, the execute in play, and in a 1v1v1v1 scenario, as the trades go back and forth, CAG comes out on top. This final ban is going to be an interesting one. CAG got rid of the Cade and the Bandit so they can open up these walls just a little bit easier. Daystar getting rid of that Monty Grim to cause a lot of chaos. And there's some big ones on the board that it feels like are next up. They, from the Daystar side, get rid of that Blackbeard, maybe the Ying. That's a hard call to go either way. And then on the defense, man, Azami feels like she's been so strong. Mira, still too tough to call. Which one is it going to be? Almost feels like it's going to be time out time after this one.
Oh man, just
Siege timing
out on a potentially perfect play. They open up that Mira, and they're going to able to stop part of those X-Kairos from being able to open up, and that's a huge first one, especially because, there's only 6 left. There's only 6 X-Kairos left, so if it didn't get open, it's not going to be open in a completely meaningful way. That was a huge first play.
Honestly, wild that so many of the X-Kairos got burned there, right? Feels like it's a bit of a miss being able to use up all that utility, but we said it, they have to be able to open everything up, and they're working that piece of it. Daystar sort of had that, a little bit of that invite you in, bait you in with leaving some of that stuff soft, but look at this. Souffle just running away from the engagement, and CAG is hunting him down. He's down to just a little bit of HP left, but survived. And now, wasting time again downstairs.
Seal in a bit of a power position, keep the barriers locking down secret, waiting for the sounds of repel, waiting for the sounds of somebody to push in from the bottom. They got a little bit opened up, but I don't know if that's enough to get through. Honestly, I think that part sticking out might be a bane to getting in from that side. So it's a switch over. They go to the construction side. They're going to open up the single and hopefully start to push some of those players out of those critical positions. Flores, the Roteros, is going to make sure that nobody's sitting off the chassis in the A side. It means they got a little room to work here on the attack side of things.
Man, those Kiba barriers are absolutely locked in. I freaking love that, but it's the age of the DMRs as another one goes down. It's the opening pick there. Sharif, man, had so much success at the beginning of this map and not able to carry it forward. With 50 seconds left, still 9 left alive, and tons of util. Util dump is coming.
Oh, here it is. He's going to push in with the shotgun, looking towards the corner, but the cross is sad. Jogor is able to find D-Man off the board. They claim the main advantage by 2, but Anatim's able to answer back. It's going to see Arculi going down. Puts it into a 4v2 situation. Shots towards the top of the red. It's going to see us equalized, although technically into a 2-2.
No way!
2-1, no way! Chibisu able to come up and take Souffle off the board. And now, in this 2-1, they get the confirmation onto Arculi, and the plant can start to go down. No C4 in hand. Just a vector and a dream to try to bring this one back. It's going to be shots towards red, and Chibisu able to find the kill. Huge play by CAG as they're going to claim the scoreline lead.
Back and forth battle. We said this is where it was going to end up. Daystar was carrying that lead into round 7, but the CAD has answered back in a big way, ties it up, and goes 1 up over top. Man, for a semi-final game, you said it. This almost feels too early in the bracket to have to happen, but it could happen again. Remember, we're in a double elimination bracket. If you're just joining us, welcome in, everyone. It is the LCQs for the Asia Pacific League, and we are down to the final 8 teams. Double elimination bracket, semifinal game. Winner goes on to the upper final. Loser is going to have to fight it out in the lower. And, man, if there was a game to see a repeat of later on in this bracket, this is the one. Both of these teams have been unbelievable, keeping us all on the edge of our seats.
Absolutely, and it has been an absolute barn burner, right? CAG definitely looked great when they got that heartbreaking win on I get heartbreaking if you're a Daystar fan. Win on that first map, Daystar all on map 2, and honestly, we're looking potentially at overtime here. A beautiful timeout means that they get to sit back and talk about it, try to get that timeout buff into place, tie this thing back up, and put us both onto a match point scenario. Right now, CAG looking to get there early.
Now, the operators we
Defenders,
talked
protect
about
your
as
bombs
part
from
of the
being
ban
defused
phase
by
coming
attackers.
in, that sort of hit on both of them. Mira on the CAG side, and it was a tough choice. Do you ban the Mira? Do you ban the Azami? Both have been very difficult to have to deal with in general. And then on the Daystar side, do you take away Anaton's Blackbeard, or do you take away Sharif's Ying? And with the way that he had been
Bomb located
playing,
by attackers.
it's hard to say no to take away the Ying. They can manage the Blackbeard. That's something that they have been able to work around, and so far have held Anaton to 4 and 5. Letting Shureep continue to run the Ying and continue to pick up more kills, more assists. That feels like a good pick at this point. So we are 5-4. CAG, 1 round away from the match point scenario, and it is a best of 3. It has come down to a best of 1. The semifinal game will be decided here on Clubhouse.
Double intel. This is something that worked out in Daystar's favor really a lot. Mozzie back with the P10 in hand. We called it the P shooter, but great when tapping dome pieces. I love that they're making sure that they have enough intel to win this match, to try to tie this up. And then you couple it with the double architect duty, Castle and Azami bringing out, making sure that they got that static warfare in hand is great. Now here's the big thing. Oh, I was going to say, Chibisu is able to get ripped off the board, but it comes with a trade. Castle does go down, a potential for the confirmation, though, if he's able to get into a spot that's safe. But at the moment, we find ourselves 4-4.
Yeah, a little bit of lull in the action here in the mid round as they need to make sure they pick up their player. We get into a 5-5 scenario. The smoke is filling up the tunnel, but look at this tight angle held by DD Man. And again, he has not had the success that he had on Nighthaven. If this CAG team can activate in some of the same way, they're going to be very dangerous. But man, this is a wild play between them, and you have got to be kidding me. What a tragic play for Daystar.
Not when it's all on the line. Shureep does get taken down, though, as the retake down main stairs goes on. They're able to get Castle back up, so he wasn't confirmed on the kill, but huge play inside of dirt as well, right? They were on the standoff, a shotgun in hand, and Glass still wins that battle. That was crazy.
That absolutely nuts. DD Man wins the battle into the in the dirt tunnel into the C4, takes down a teammate. Man, I can't believe that's
for Daystar.
I can't believe we saw that happen. Daystar, I mean, we're sitting at 3-3 right now. Wow, there it is. The glass goes down. This is a huge boost here for the Daystar team.
Now it's all going to be up to Arculi, but it's not going to happen. It's a Deagle to finish one off. Daystar looking great as they tie that one back up. Even with the TK, even with the man deficit, they're able to pull around back, and now it's both going to be CAG and Daystar on the precipice of a match point scenario.
The team to win the next round gets that honor of the first match point here, and if the final game in this best of 3, the final game in the final round in the semifinals is on its way. Trying to decide which one is it going to be. Are we going to see CAG? Are we going to see Daystar in that upper bracket final? Too freaking close to call at this point, and I hate that we got to make a choice because the two great teams doing battle here, but it comes down. Last chance qualifier means one team gets to go to Paris. And they still have got the rest of this playoff bracket to get the work done. It is a very long road through this through the open qualifiers, the closed qualifiers, and now the last chance qualifier for an Asian team to make it to SI. And I love that they've got that fight in them.
Defense going to switch it up a little bit here. Daystar still going to lean into that intel aspect, but this time gives themselves a chance to deny plant, right? Deny a shield pushing in. They didn't bring one on the side of CAG, but should they have done it, finds themselves with a intel and something that can potentially shoot back or bring a little disruption. I like this adaptation. I like the change, and when you couple it with the clash, potentially you're going to find some mistakes being made as you try to push and get in on towards that clash.
So that first 30 seconds down, got a big piece of this work done, opened up that site, and then Jogor, man, takes down DD, man. We've been saying his name all game. And unfortunately here on Clubhouse, it's for the wrong reasons. He has not had the same success that he did on Nighthaven, which was an unbelievable game. Early on in this match, he said he was the likely MVP if CAG could pull off the win. What a turnaround since that point. Shows just how much Siege can change up in just a short amount of time. Jogor was the guy. He takes down DD, man, but then answered back by Shurup. He goes 12-9-4. Continues to pad his kill count. Getting tired of carrying this team. Rest of these guys need to step up. Who's the next one to try and find some kills to slow this thing down, send their team to match point? Minute 30 now, as again, we got a little bit of that mid-round low.
Anaton starting to push up. Smoke goes out, putting Glaz into his element. He's looking to potentially catch one rotating. Damo's down on the vertical play. Clash sits at the top of red, and that's going to be a Clash shield gone. Huge play, I believe. Was that a Gone 6 that took that out?
Yes, it was.
Either way, he's stuck at the top of red, and now his ping starts to go
what a
out.
whiff!
Clash finding themselves on a little bit of danger as they're pushing in from the main.
He hits it!
Seal on the Chibisu is a huge pick. Now putting it towards that Logi area as Clash is going to find Anaton off the board as well. Now just falling apart. Shotgun takes down Shureep, and oh man. Oh, what a play. Match point scenario. Daystar looking to make a name and stay up in the upper.
My friend, it is not match point scenario. It is match point, map point, series point, and semi-final point in the 6th Invitational Last Chance Qualifier. Daystar is 1 round away from claiming that spot, sending themselves on to the upper bracket final and sending CAG to the lower. What a crazy way this thing has come to the end. CAG, though, they're only 1 round away from sending us to overtime, and you know what? That's where this one feels like it needs to go. As we jump into the 2nd floor, this Cash CC site, CAG won this back on round 9. This is one they can pull off.
This is one to send them to overtime. Who's the defense bringing along to try to thwart that attempt? We're seeing the castle. Azami, they're leaning into that site redefinement, right? Castle and Azami making sure that some of those same angles that you're used to peeking, a little bit tougher with a Kiva barrier there, maybe a little bit of the unknown as you start to make your push in. That was definitely the bane of Daystar on their side of it, the unknown, the not having the drones, the not having the intel. Try to bring it onto their side of it as well. A little bit of Valk going to be on the board, so C4 and potential playing down below. It's a good defense to be set up. It's going to be put onto CAG to try to bring that first entry kill, get that first thing going. They're going to start with walls.
This has been their strong suit throughout this entire day. They have been very good at opening up those sight lines, getting those walls open. They are locked in on the thermite, and it feels like that is the right way to play this. Now, Anaton is playing the glass, back on the glass this time. No breach Chanel, right? They're not using the two-brow, not using the mute, even though the Cade and the Bandit are banned. There was an opportunity to try and at least slow this down a bit, because it feels like that is such a stronghold for this CAG team, is to get all those sight lines open. The problem is, Daystar has been able to convert those into round wins. even if CAG is able to open up all the sight lines. So as it comes down to it, we are 1 minute and 50 seconds away from the potential end or a guaranteed overtime.
Edge of my seat. No idea how this one's going to play out. A little bit of slowdown here for CAG. They're looking to try to put some pressure onto this catwalk player, and that's going to be DD Man taken off the board.
Oh no, she rips down!
You're a CAG fan. 2 goes down, and that's going to be the hero of the last round and the hero of this map taken off the board. Now into a 5-3. Glass slowly making his approach up. The prone position is going to find a triple kill, and it just falls apart. Daystar now into a 1v5 situation, all but claiming themselves the potential. Ooh, Arkley is going to find one. Pad the KD just a little bit, but almost guaranteeing themselves that spot in the finals. A tough place to bring your self back from, and it's not gonna happen. Daystar does it. CAG defeated, sent down to the lower bracket as the GGs rain out in the all chat. Daystar with the upset.
Edge of my seat constantly for the past 3 hours and 45 minutes. What a play for this team. It could have honestly gone either way. It was impossible to tell at this point, and what a game between these two. Unbelievable. Just shocking here at 3:51 in the morning North America time. We appreciate everybody that stayed with us all the way to watch Daystar take down CAG in unbelievable fashion. It took all three more than just about 6 hours of casting to get to see which team was going to make the upper bracket final, and big GGs to Daystar for pulling that off.
Man, what a valiant attempt. But, you know, I wouldn't call it a David versus Goliath because obviously Daystar are straight gunners. But honestly, I don't know if that's the way that we thought that might play out, especially given, you know, kind of how that second map was playing. Honestly, beautiful cinema. APL just absolutely delivering, not just in the games, but also in the viewers. We're 37 followers away from 8,000, and it's all thanks to you guys. We just can't say how much we appreciate all of you being here. And there's plenty of places you can find it because we got some more Siege coming your way. Maybe not right this second. It's going to be a few hours before we get there, but not by many run, right? So you want a little bit of info, you can go on over to Twitter. I'm at glitter_whiskey. He's at racingengr, and together we're the Siege Double Shot, bringing you T4 to T1, as much international and local Siege as we can possibly get to you guys. We appreciate the subs. We appreciate the follows. And now if you want to be a newer part of the fam, we've got our merch that is out live now. And speaking of it, right, it is the No Days Offline. Eat, sleep, Siege. Support your local casters. You know, right. This is we're living that moment right now.
Man, yeah, like you said, thanks to everyone for being here for the entire night. It was a fantastic night of the Asia Pacific League, another SILCQ, and we will see you again tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, for the South America League LCQ. We're kicking the playoffs off here, and it'll be Team Liquid on stream.
Okay. Well, you heard it. We're here. We're done. We have finished up finally for the evening. Thanks again for everybody hanging, but we have come to the dreaded part of the evening or morning, I guess, where we must bid you adieu. So as the lights start to dim and the jukebox starts to sing closing time, as always, my friends, you don't have to go home.
But you can't stay here.
Ayo.
Let's go.